All right, we are live. How's it going, everybody? This is the Cinema Squad, Ep.5, or it could actually be 4, but we've been doing turns on each other's channels so often. I don't really remember which one we're on, but should be on Episode 5, I think, or at least Episode 4, but whatever. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news lately, but we've also got our guest today, the Sith Kryptonian, and Geoff TheIronWolf will be joining us in a little bit. He's just getting home a little late, and then with us, as always, it's Black Angus Reviews. He's a little quiet right now, though, dealing with kid stuff, I assume. So, just how's it going today, Flip? Or not Flip.
It's going good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. You're a good one to chat with, definitely. There's a lot of, I'm gonna say there's a lot. Everyone that I've met so far has been really great with conversation, and I'm glad because when there's some people that are like just one answered things, it gets really boring. So we got a lot more people in the chat than I thought already. Wow, sweet. How's it going, guys? Yeah, I tried to get Flip in here too, but he is at work. Nerdette, if you want to join, just let me know and I'll send you a link. Lone Wolf Cub, I would have you join too, but you're going to be with me on Tuesday, so I want to save you for that. All right, so I guess we could start with the Bill Maher stuff, but I kind of wanted to wait for Wolf to get here with that. Oh, he said he's home. Okay, so I'll send him in here. Then we could start.
Yeah.
You want to talk about your stream a little bit last night while I get Wolf in here?
Yeah, we had a really good Senate stream last night. We had a little bit of a malfunction in the middle of it, but we powered through it, and we had a great conversation with some great people. Thank you to everybody who stopped by. And Flip actually joined us in the second half, which was awesome. So yeah, definitely check that out if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's really funny when he gets kicked out of his own stream.
Oh my God. Yeah, it kicked me from the room and it wouldn't let me back in.
Yep, and then when you get kicked out from your own stream, it like only lasts for another 5 minutes or so. Hey, how's it going?
I told someone.
Own stream. Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah.
Yep, that was funny. Oh, hey, we got Proper Jeremy in the chat. We got Nerdette's Newsstand in the chat. The Lone Wolf Cub, as always. John Matrix, what is up, dude? And Flip in the chat as well. So got our main crew, 6-scale combat. Salutations from the 6th side. How's it going, dude? All right, Wolf. I know that there's been some stuff going on lately, and I'm pretty sure you got a lot you want to get off your mind. So, do you want to start us off with a topic of your choice?
Well, you wanted to go with Bill Maher, so we'll start there.
All right. So, you and Angus, I think, probably do more of the research on that kind of stuff. I just kind of see what happens through YouTube videos a little bit. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Bill Maher situation?
Well, the Bill Maher situation, I only know secondhand also, so that one I didn't really have time to dig into.
Angus, you read the article, though, right?
Yeah. I am watching EVS's take. I am, I would say, 95% aligned with his view of it. You want me to recap what transpired?
Yeah, briefly.
All right. So Stan Lee died, and Bill Maher, he always has like hot takes to start his show. I don't watch Bill Maher, but I watch his videos off and on YouTube, and I appreciate him being a conservative myself. I appreciate his being a leftist, but actually having friends that are conservatives and talking instead of being an NPC and just screaming "Orange Man bad" without any conflicts through dialogue with people. So I find him to be useful in that respect, and I appreciate him. Well, he was talking about how people were mourning Stan Lee, and he's essentially being a bit blasé at the expense of Stan Lee, saying, I don't get it. He wrote comics. He's nothing special. How some people on Reddit are like, I'm glad I lived in a world with Stan Lee, and he kind of backhands with like, I'm glad I lived in a world with trees and oxygen. But then he goes deeper and actually reveals like why he's kind of backhanding the mourning of Stan Lee, and he's pointing out that when he was a kid, comics were fun and they're for kids, but that was just it. They were for kids. He grew up, and he said like 20, 30 years ago, we decided we don't have to grow up. And he's pretty much saying that how like we're infantilizing ourselves with this whole culture, and honestly, myself included, with the content I create, he has a legitimate point in my view. I feel that we are infantilizing ourselves. How many people can you show a picture of Brie Larson and they'll know, oh, that's going to be Captain Marvel? And then hold up pictures of Mar, hold up pictures of Shapiro, hold up pictures of Mike Pence, our vice president, just for a few instances of people that should be known to some degree if, with political rhetoric and action. People won't know who that is, but they know all about the conflict of Ray and how she is or isn't a Mary Sue. So Mars words, I think, carry a lot of merit, in my opinion. I think people are really upset because it's actually indicting their way of life of prioritizing, uh, in a grand scheme, useless things.
All right.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, you go
I
ahead.
would,
I have a big response, so go ahead.
yeah, I would say that probably says more about the state of politics in our country that people know more about comic books and the characters than they do like you said, like Ben Shapiro and Bill Maher. I think that everything's politicized, which is exactly why comic books are important to people. In the same way that sports are. I don't see the difference between getting excited about a Justice League movie and getting excited about the Super Bowl.
Oh no, I agree. Like I also indict myself in the sense of sports as well.
Yeah, I think that to a certain extent, what the word you said, infantilizing yourself, I think it's actually necessary because I feel like if we lose sight of like the kid inside us and like stories that are just fun and the lessons we can learn from them, then we just end up like bitter and burned out like Bill Maher in a way.
Well, Seth,
Like
I
you
look
could
at it
say the
like
same
that.
thing about his comedy. You know what I'm saying? That's completely infantile. Comedy is like it's immature because it's supposed to be.
Well, Seth, I look at it this way. It's entertainment. Stan Lee provided us decades of escapism, fantasy stories that people took to heart because they also pushed a lot of messages over the years that have shaped people, turned their heads, made them stop and think about things, even through comics. And he was also basically trying to say comics aren't a medium that is worth two shits, which I completely disagree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Wolf. My take is kind of he's trying to make a point, but I think when he's making his point with Stan Lee is kind of a little messed up because it's almost as if he's saying, well, because he wrote things that are meant for kids means his death should not be taken as such a loss or something, like as if it's more meaningless than if somebody else who wrote like Tale of Two Cities or something is kind of what that comes off as to me. Just like, well, his death is not all that important at all, and so, but this person would be important, and and then he's saying, oh, he values trees and oxygen. It's like, okay, I get that, and I don't know the importance of comics. I would agree that we do need more professors, we do need more intellectual people, but also that comics and entertainment in general, movies, film, entertainment as a whole, help inspire people to be better people in real life. I mean, so to say that it's not important at all is a little silly. I mean, that's what I
Yeah,
think.
it's funny coming from a guy who's literally hosting a show, which is a form of entertainment. And then he's saying some other dude who actually had a lot more of an impact on America. And I'd argue Stanley did have a big impact politically on America, especially throughout the wars. It's just funny coming from him because Stanley did so much more, both in the entertainment department and I think in the political department than Bill Maher ever did.
Well, not only that, it's just the fact that who is Bill Maher to trivialize who's not worthy of, mourning and who is. I mean, who died and made him God to decide, oh, he's not worth mourning, but this person is.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's almost like saying, who are you to speak about anything? Who are you to feel about anything anyway? What are the exact qualifications that make you verified to feel what about what? That's what that kind of comes down to. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much we could talk about this, honestly. It just seems like I think the reactions are a little abrupt over it because I also kind of feel like with the Mark Hamill thing that was just Mark Hamill and whatever. Bill Maher says something, it's also whatever. Like, I don't really take it to heart what they say
Yeah,
all the time. So
I'll make it clear. Like, I'll make it. Sorry to interrupt, Rookie.
go ahead.
I'll make it clear. Like, I'm not upset that he said it. Like, he has the right to say it. I'm just pointing out that he's wrong.
Yeah, Bill Maher's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's oversimplified the situation with it in a way, and also latched when he says the adulting thing. I think that's more of a joke that we say. It's not like, oh, so we're really adulting. It's just like, yeah, we're adulting. Like there's, I don't know, there's some validity to it. I like what Angus was saying too about how we do need to, if you were to show pictures of people, that people would recognize the more famous ones that aren't as intellectual as the actual smart people, like who actually know
like Kim K.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that there needs to be more famous scientists, but that's the thing too, and a lot of their work doesn't grab people's attention, so they don't pay attention to it.
Well, one thing that EVS pointed out is like, sure, he did stuff. He made Black Panther during a highly controversial time to make a black character that is the most technologically advanced in the world to top it off. So like there's an effect with having representation and whatnot. But at the same time, no one's championing Hugh Hefner, who actually risked his businesses by defying Jim Crow laws. He's a way bigger civil rights person that's behind the scenes than Stan Lee ever would be. He's writing kids fiction, even if it transcended into adulthood for a lot of people. I like what EBF said. It's like, don't get me wrong. He's no Martin Luther King, and that's how people are reacting about Bill Maher's statements. And I think that's the whole point. That's why I take the side with EVS. I formed this opinion before I saw that video that he made. And EVS had his own take where it's like, oh, look at comic book, whatever freaking site was acting all up in arms about the attack on Stan Lee's memory. And it's like, he never defended him when he was getting accused of being a rapist or a racist or anything,
That's a good point.
So there's this whole outrage culture, and when I look on Twitter and I see people like boycott Bill Maher because he said stuff against someone I like, it's like you look no different to me than the pecan resist at Ben and Jerry's going.
Yeah, I like how you put that. I agree with that completely. That's actually a topic I was going to talk about too. Maybe was reaction culture, and what you guys think about that.
Reaction culture. I think we're a little bit past reaction culture. In fact, I saw this video on the way home from Tim Pool about how he thinks we've pretty much gone from a social war and we're sliding dangerously close towards a civil war, like open fighting. And he thinks we've pretty much gone past the precipice, and now it's just we're waiting for the spark plug to go boom.
Well, if that's true, then the liberals are fucked.
But I mean, that's kind of
but
like the way
jokes aside. Oh, go ahead, Rookie. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, the way that we hear things initially, like with the Bill Maher thing, and they go straight to, oh no, this must be that. We must be against it automatically. Or I'll say too, with even the Star Wars news, like I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the stuff that comes out, but I mean, I'm not so quick to just go soy. That's bad. It's horrible. It's just like, no, just think for a sec. And I mean, in a lot of movies where women are cast, like, Angus and I disagree on this a little bit, but like, but to be fair, like he hasn't seen The Incredibles 2 yet, but the way it's marketed, I totally see how you would think it's SJW-ish, but like it really isn't. And just because they do have women make like the main role in it, but it kind of fits within the story and doesn't feel like it's because women. In the movie Widows that's coming out, I mean, that just seems like that would have come out regardless of the culture we're in right now, and whether it's good or bad, it's just a movie that's coming out that stars women. Well,
Rookie, I mean, one of the people in the Phantom Menace who's kind of famous for kind of jump on the shark or jump on the gun. No offense to him, I like Jeremy Geeks and Gamers, but sometimes he overreacts.
Yeah,
like the Bill Maher video, he definitely overreacted.
I agree.
I feel like with the reaction culture, it's kind of become, well, it's kind of cliche now, but like an outrage culture. A lot of it has to do with Twitter, I think, because with Twitter, the more outlandish you are, the more attention you get, and that's kind of conditioned people in a way. And I'll say about The Incredibles, it's a good point because it's easy to get mixed up between a Mary Sue character and speaking out against that, and then just assuming that all female leads are going to be Mary Sue's. Because I agree, in The Incredibles, it is a natural progression of the story. And I think that, like with Rey, for example, like I was feeling bad the other day because my niece loves Rey, right? And she was telling me about it. And I was like, man, am I an asshole? But then I remembered, I was like, Oh no, I was excited about Rey going into The Force Awakens. My issue is the choices they made with her character. And it's important we don't lose sight of that and that we point out what is good in the things that we like and the things that we speak out about.
It's funny you said that. Just to be quick, my feelings about Rey, because of how they pace the movie, it's like you only have one really moment to breathe, and you're trying to gather every information about how does this tie into the original trilogy. With Rey, even up till the end, until they had the split in the ground, I was all on board with it. I'm like, okay, I like this. I didn't expect her to be a big character, and then and then you look back and you question it, and you're like, well, she's kind of a Mary Sue, and then you get called a sexist, and it's like, well, I don't care to pay money for this crap anymore.
Same. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the anger was spurred on by the accusations that were leveled against us when we started like pointing out, oh, hey, maybe she shouldn't have been able to beat Kylo or do a mind trick so quickly.
Bigot.
Well, Sith, think about this. Her beating Kylo Ren would have been like Luke Skywalker force pulling Obi-Wan's lightsaber, jumping across the chasm, and beating the holy hell out of Vader before he took off on the Falcon.
Yeah, true.
So, and the thing is, I would have called Luke Skywalker at that point a Gary Stu, which is the male equivalent of a Mary Stu.
He's still Mary Stu.
Yeah, somebody tell Daisy Ridley that.
And the thing is, most people I've ever heard talk about it, like EVS brought that up in a video. Jeff Hicks all the major three of the High Council have brought that up. And it's like, yeah, we would have called Mark Hamill out on that in the same way.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't work.
Big time.
He wouldn't have been Luke, because what's great about Luke is that he never lost his optimism no matter how many times he got his ass kicked.
And the thing is, he did fail. Like when he saw Obi-Wan, die, he didn't, calmly take it. He screamed out in rage and started shooting.
Yeah, and he couldn't do anything.
Like one point where he falls to the dark side for a moment before Obi-Wan snaps him out of it.
Yeah.
Good point. I see it like that too. Good point. But yeah, I was also going to say, so a little different from the Mary Sue thing, but just from the SJW culture, I suppose, with it. So it seems like nowadays, because it seems to be brought up all the time and everything, just all the time, and the same conversation gets thrown out a lot, that when anything new comes around and it, seems to be, it almost appears like that's what it is. Like it's going to be an SJW thing when it's around the corner. But I thought the definition of that is more changing what already was. Like if there's a male character, they swap it with a female one, or where there's a white one and now there's a black one. But now it's almost like, well, now if there's a new character or a new movie, for example, with new people that aren't changing an established thing, then that's not SJW. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Rookie, here's an SJW thing that came up in the news that Geeks and Gamers reported on. Apparently doing another Pirates, but instead of Jack Sparrow as the lead, we're going to have a female pirate as the lead.
I'm going to bring that up as a topic, too. Keep going.
Why won't they let that franchise die?
See, that's a good example of SJW, because they're changing what was. If anything, if they want to make a pirate movie with females as the leads, that's fine. But why call it a reboot and why make it Pirates of the Caribbean? Well,
it's not a reboot. I think they're just carrying on a story, but they just don't want, Johnny Depp anymore. They want something different and fresh, try to shake it up. But now they want a female lead and trying to base it on Anne Bond, who was a female pirate of the day. But it's just like...
Well, it's like that's my point, though. Why not make a new pirate series starring a female lead instead of replace him with the female? That's the big difference I see. And if it was a brand new thing and it's not connected to pirates at all, to the Caribbean, then I would give it more credit for being its own new thing that stars a woman. Good.
How did Dead Man Tell No Tales do at the box office?
I don't know, but it was horrible. My God, it was so boring.
Yeah, I don't know why they're continuing it.
Yeah, I remember it didn't do well. Like, it wasn't a success, but
it didn't bomb, but it wasn't break any records or anything. It did okay.
I think it got its money back, but it's not like they made a huge profit.
Like, I understand Transformers continuing, even though most of the movies sucked, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because they were still making like $1 billion. But if Pirates isn't making any money and it's sucking, I don't see why the studio feels it's worth it to continue.
After 3, they should have just called it quits. I mean, 4 was just to prove that they didn't need the whole crew, that Johnny Depp could carry it on his own, but 5 was just a movie too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny y'all say that, because I was telling Rookie before we got on, I can't watch Pirates 2 even. Like, it's so boring in between, you know, like, oh, I love octopus and stuff, you know, cephalopods. And Davy Jones looks pretty cool, but, you know, it takes like 45 minutes to get from like when you meet him to like this whirlpool thing that happens. I checked out. It's so boring. I pretty much only prescribe to the first movie.
1 and 4 were probably the best for me because 4 kind of went back to, you know, the formula of 1.
I mean, kind of, but
I liked 1 and 2.
I liked the trilogy as a whole. I mean, I do think that if you fast forward through certain parts, then it's worth it. But I mean, like the climax of the third one, I think is pretty good. I mean, wouldn't you agree if you saw that?
Yeah.
When
The problem I had with the movies, though, especially when it came to like the British Navy, it was those ships are way too big for as small of a crew as they have.
Yeah, probably. Because there's only like 6 of them half the time when they pilot those, or at least throughout.
Well, the thing is, like the ship that at the end of 3 that gets blown up that has Beckett on it. That is a first-rate ship of the line. They had a crew of over 600, sometimes as close high as 700 people on that damn ship. There's no way 2 small 2-deck frigates would take out a ship of the line and blow it up like that. I just watched that and I just cringe. I mean, I know it's for the movie's sake, but you watch something like, you know, or read like the Horatio Hornblower series and you watch that scene, it's just so cringe inducing.
Yeah, well,
I feel like go ahead, Ricky, go ahead.
Well, like a lot of silly stuff happens throughout the Pirates movies, even in the first one. But I do think that they do make it seem a more believable way that they happen. But I mean, I don't know. Then people would argue, well, they have magic skeletons and ghosts, so why do those bother you? Which I would say, well, because it just doesn't flow well with the story. But all right.
Well, yeah, I feel like with pirates, they kind of are trying to balance fantasy with like historical fiction in a way.
What have they done that's historical?
They slide a little too much towards fantasy.
Yeah.
Versus historical, especially like I said, when it comes to like some of the ship crews and like, you know, that big ass pirate fleet, there were never that many pirate ships on the ocean like that in the first freaking place.
Well, and I thought pirates in history were a little more smart than the way they make them seem in this, just drunk.
Rookie, if you want to watch a really competently put together pirate series, watch Star's Black Sails.
Okay.
That is very well put together.
Whoa. I think you mean African American sales.
That was good. Well, speaking of a movie though, do you guys have any movie recommendations for us and the chat?
Hostels.
Ooh, I'm more of a Saw guy, but I appreciate Hostel.
What happens in Hostel?
You're more of a what guy?
More of a Saw guy.
Wait, are you talking about Hostels with Christian
Bale?
Bale?
You're talking about the Indians Hostels. Okay, Hostiles.
Yeah, yeah. The one with Christian Bale. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that one, but we can talk about that in a minute.
Sure.
Okay. And Wolf, what would you recommend for us in the chat?
Well, it depends. Is it something recently that I've seen that I liked, or
just what movie do you go? Gee, I wish that people would see this.
Well, I just put a meme in World Class Bullshitters that kids today will never know that Scotty doesn't know.
Okay.
But you've never seen Eurotrip?
I probably glanced at it if it was on TV ever, but no.
I've heard of it. I think I saw like part of it when I was a kid, but my parents made me turn it off.
You should watch it.
Sounds like one of those American Pie style movies. Is that what
but the thing is, the one of the most hilarious things you'll ever see, and this is a bit of a spoiler, you will see Matt Damon, shaved head, punk rocker, singing a song.
Okay.
He sings the title song of the movie. It's hilarious. like I saw that part, I tilted my head and like, oh my god, that's Matt Damon. Holy shit, he can sing.
Have you seen that, Angus?
No, I wanted to as a kid, but then I'm older now, and it's like Beer Fest as well. People tell me, "Oh, watch it, it's funny." I'm like, I don't laugh at that shit. So I'll save myself the 2 hours.
I gotcha. Well, I have a recommendation that's not like one of my favorites, but I think it's one that I don't think people have seen. Have any of you or in the chat seen Deep in the Valley?
Heard of it,
No.
never seen it.
I saw it on your picture, so that's how I know it.
It stars Chris Pratt before he was famous. And it's literally he and a buddy go into this like porn booth and get transported to the world, and they have to like interact in this weird porn universe or something. It's actually kind of a soft comedy in a way, but there's a few parts that are like, oh, what the fuck? But it's pretty funny for back in the day. I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't remember everything that happens in it, but it's pretty funny if you want to laugh.
Okay.
Nice.
And if you want to see Chris Pratt pre-Star-Lord and whatever that
Jurassic World
and Jurassic World and whatever the show he was on that got him more famous.
Oh, dude, you got to watch Parks and Rec. It's pretty good.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, here's another movie that you guys may not have seen or have not seen in a while. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, since we're going into Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that in years.
Haven't seen that. No.
It's John
with the-
Candy and Steve Martin, and watch the hilarity ensue. It's a John Hughes movie. It's not like in his first tier, but it's still freaking hilarious.
Okay.
It is probably one of the best Thanksgiving comedies you will ever watch.
You said who else is in it other than Steve Martin?
John Candy, when he was still alive.
I don't know who that is.
Uncle Buck.
You don't know who John Candy is?
Oh, Uncle
Dude, John
Buck.
Candy.
Oh, see that dude that was like, okay, the Uncle Buck guy. Isn't that guy that was in
Spaceballs. He's the fucking
Spaceballs.
Chewie replacement.
Oh,
He
okay.
was in Spaceballs. He was in Home Alone, the first one. He was the guy that was part of the band.
Okay. I get him now. I haven't seen him in that much material, so I don't know who that is off the top of my head. So,
Oh, you'll love him in Planes,
Okay.
Trains.
I like it. He was in Cool Runnings.
Yes, he was the coach in Cool Runnings.
Yeah. See,
You know, a more obscure John Candy movie. That's weird.
you'll hate it because I don't really think Steve Martin's all that funny.
Yeah, I gotta agree, Rookie. I watched The Jerk, really excited. Like, all right, I want to watch this iconic. I like it be on my list. It's like, all right, I want to watch this iconic, transformative comedy of Steve Martin. I'm like, fucking kill me. I didn't feel like I didn't feel like that with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I watched that like a month ago. It was okay. I like the,
He's
for lack of a better term, camaraderie between them. It worked, but it just wasn't funny to me.
Steve Martin plays better off a lot of people. Like, my favorite Steve Martin movie is The Three Amigos with him, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short.
I might probably be more willing to watch that one, I suppose. The Three Amigos might be okay. I think I've seen them do skits of it, which I guess is kind of funny. Is it supposed to be a comedy? I would assume because Martin Short, I can't see him doing drama.
Oh yeah, it's a comedy.
Okay.
El Guapo. Oh God.
All right, a movie I would recommend to people. You probably have to go to your library and check it out, or buy it. Probably at Barnes and Nobles if you really want to see it and don't want to utilize your library for free. It's called The Phoenix. It's made in 2014. It is a German film. It is set in World War II, and
You just cut out if you're still talking.
it's about escapes the constant wars. Oh, motherfucker.
Yeah, the only Phoenix
Oh,
movie
come on.
I know of is the Dennis Quaid one where they crash in the desert and they have to.
Oh no, it's not that.
Apart.
But the ending to it's kind of a boring modern Criterion movie, but the ending is such a mic drop that you don't see coming. It's something like you might not love it or anything, but it's something different that no one's going to suggest to you. I'm always trying to go through the Criterion films at my library just to be cultured, I guess. I find a lot of Criterion movies are pretentious, but I do my due diligence.
Okay, another movie that I'll recommend that's probably not been seen by many. It's a movie called Pandorum. It has, again, Dennis Quaid in it.
Oh my god, yeah, that's a great one.
Talk about a mic drop plot twist you just did not see coming near the end.
Yeah, it's
The first
like
time I watched
Alien
that with
meets
my wife,
Gollum.
yeah, my wife and I watched that, and we got to the end. Her jaw about hit the floor, and she's like, "I usually see a bunch of shit coming. I did not see this one coming."
To be fair, you can't really predict that problem.
All right. Well, also, I thought I'd include the chat with this too for us. We can have a more variety of it. I'm writing down the movies as you guys recommend them. So, everybody in the chat, tell us some movies that you guys would recommend as well. See, Proper Jeremy said The Circle. You guys see The Circle?
No.
Yeah,
I saw the reviews and I was like, it sounds deeper than it actually is from what I watched the reviews.
What kind of movie is it?
It's like a 1984, like kind of like what Zuckerberg is doing, trying to use Facebook to control us.
Okay. And then Nicole Milat says Space Hunter and Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. You guys see those?
That sounds trippy.
Sounds like a low budget one or something. So it does sound like. But
Yeah,
This isn't like an unknown film, but it's a film that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Do you guys see Fury?
yeah. Oh, Fury was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be like a Saving Private Ryan like remake / wannabe, but it was actually really fucking good.
All right,
Well-
yeah. Wolf talked about that on one of our other streams a while ago,
yeah?
and I'm gonna check. It's on my list to check out soon, actually.
Oh,
Hey, you know,
Sith.
I'll do you this favor, Wolf and Sith. I will rewatch rewatch Fury to give a more clear adult take on it. But I saw it when I was like 19 or so, whenever it came out, and I was like, forgettable.
No, the Sith. The funny thing about Fury is there's this game called World of Tanks. I actually have the Fury tank on World of Tanks.
Oh, sick.
Best
Best job I ever had.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to watch that too to keep up on that. I was gonna say at the end of this, we could try to pick a movie for each of us to try to watch, like one movie, like as an assignment for us to watch, and then we could talk about it on the next one or on the Rookie Corner one if you guys want to.
Sure.
Okay.
By the end of it, Salty Nerd recommends Dog Soldiers
Never heard of it.
or The Ritual.
Never seen either one, but shout out Salty.
The ritual is it's on my wish list on Netflix. It's like a trippy horror. I watched the ending explained because I was just excited to know what it's about.
Hallmark Jeremy Fury equals the best job I ever had. You're dang right.
Yeah.
Nice. Ritual says it has the creepiest, most unique monster I've ever seen on screen. Okay. And then what was it?
Jeff.
Yeah.
Other Jeff TheIronWolf.
You gotta be specific.
How sick was it when Brad Pitt was making his I won't say when in the film, but when he's like shouting in German on the machine gun? How sick was that?
Yeah, and that was actually him speaking German. I'm like, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was sick. Sorry, I just had to say that.
But did you notice what Brad Pitt was carrying around as personal weapon most of the movie?
Was it a Mauser?
No, he was carrying around a Sturmgewehr.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was running around
Yeah.
like Sturmgewehr. I was like, that's badass.
Because you just know he wants to get them with their own shit, you know?
All right. Well, Johnny 5 also recommends Now You See Me 1 and 2 and 12 Monkeys.
Now You See Me 1 was better than 2.
Okay, that's the one where they escape stuff, right? Or they're magicians or something.
Yeah, they basically pull off tricks that people think that are impossible.
Have you guys seen 12 Monkeys? I have. I've actually seen that one for one.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
It's been years.
It's a Bruce Willis one from back in the day, and oh my god, and Brad Pitt actually, and oh my god, I don't know what the hell was going on in that film. They made a TV show about it too on Sci-Fi briefly, and I still don't know what the hell's going on in that whole thing. It's a time travel loop, some disease breaks out, and I have no idea what the hell is going on in that one. So I don't know. I might watch it again one of these days, but I'd have to. It's not anywhere near my near to watch list for next. So maybe in the future. Fire in the Sky is another good one. So 6 scale combat. Yeah, see that one?
Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky. I don't know.
That doesn't sound familiar.
I'll write that down to check that out later. 6 scale combat. All right.
I could not. Okay, Hallmark Jeremy. I'm probably gonna piss off everybody here, but I was not a fan of Inglorious Bastards. For me, the scenes just drag. It's like, okay, will you move along, please?
Ditto, Wolf. I saw it too, and I thought it was extremely overrated. I thought there's two scenes in the movie that I really liked. The rest was just, can we move? Can we do something?
Yeah, I liked what's the actor's name? He was the villain Inspector. He's like a German actor.
The Christoph Waltz played the guy.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz. Yeah, that character was awesome. I love that character, and I love the whole Bear Jew scene.
Everybody loved the Bear Jew because that was the perfect amount of time to spend on that scene. But
yeah, hell yeah.
But Quentin Tarantino, he has a tendency of dragging on his scenes way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tarantino's overrated.
I don't think he's overrated.
I appreciate Pulp Fiction, but like I've watched it, I'm like, it's nothing to like run home to mom about.
Yeah. But honestly,
I think it was at the time it came out, probably.
I was hoping
because it was different.
The thing is, though, I really hoped they were going to give him a Star Trek movie just to see what he was going to do. I mean, I don't think he was going to do the whole swearing thing because Tarantino swears up and down that he's a major Star Trek fan. So I was just wondering what he'd do with it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as Inglourious Bastards go, like, I don't know. I don't understand how it's so praised. I mean, it's a little funny, I guess, but I wasn't really laughing. And I mean, the scene where he's one-on-one with the guy near the beginning, that was great. And then there was another scene where it was with Michael Fassbender and they're in that bar. That one was a little long.
Oh, yeah.
That one was good too. I kind of liked that slow build up to that. It was like, oh shit, what happened here? And it like went a very nice.
Well, that's it.
Going to shit. And the rest
kind of movie was done way better with Lee Marvin and the movie called The Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen.
It was done way better.
Yeah, I think with Inglourious Bastards. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, IronWolf.
Yeah, that had a lineup that had guy that played Oddball. Oh God, Donald Sutherland was in The Dirty Dozen. Pierce Brosnan. I mean, it was a lineup of the 70s actors.
Hallmark Jeremy and Salty Nerd in the chat are saying that Inglourious Bastards was a masterpiece and that it was supposed but that it was supposed to be stupid.
Yeah. I feel like with Inglourious Bastards, it's like I feel like people like it a lot because even though it drags on because of the characters, like Brad Pitt's characters, the Christoph Waltz, the Bear Jew, all the characters and the dialogue were great. Like there were great moments in that film, but it does drag on in between them.
Great film work as well, and good use of music and sounds, I would say too, because they don't.
It was all great. I just wanted the scenes to move along.
Yeah, it's like and also it's also just the fact that it's so overhyped is what I feel too. And when people say this is the best thing ever, this is so great, you love it, it's awesome, it's the best shit, and then I go watch it and I'm just like, well, I mean, it's okay, but I don't understand how it's the best shit. It's just okay. It's fine.
Rookie. Here's something we have to. This Johnny Five says, does anyone else think that Harry Potter is incredibly overrated?
Yes.
The early movies, no. The last three, hell yes.
I'll tell you why I say no. I am not a Harry Potter guy. It was the devil. I couldn't have it.
It was
evil.
The devil.
Okay, so I watched them. I always work at a movie store, so I bought through my discount. I bought the fucking 8-movie Blu-ray set for my wife for our collection. Never sat down and watched it, and then I watched it with her. I'm like, okay, it's all right. And then I read the first book, and I'm like, dear God, I would have been on my knees for this series if when I was a kid, if I was allowed to read it. I get why people love it now. Outside looking in, just movies, I'm like, it's them trying to do a Gandalf series, and it's not that great. But then you read the book, and it's like, I get it now. I get it. They did it well. I don't know about the later books, but I totally see why.
It was good up until the last three movies. The last three movies were just like, okay, this is taking too goddamn long. I could have done this all in a movie.
Well, and to me, it seems like they keep on changing what everything is as they go. Like at first, it seemed like the rules were the wand can only listen to its user, and then everyone's like taking each other's wands, and then they just like don't really need to shout anything anymore. They can just go pew 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 and like fire whatever they want as they go, and it just seemed less than, I guess. Like it just became more of an action thing later on. But I don't know. I mean, with what you like, I mean, I don't hate any of them as far as the Harry Potter ones go. Fantastic Beasts, I think, is one of the most boring films I've ever seen. With such a magical premise, it's so boring. But with Harry Potter, I think it is a little overhyped sometimes, but I can totally get why people love it. And I mean, I was amongst the age group that grew up with it. Like I was a child when I saw them and read them and grew up with them as the actors grew. So, I mean,
the thing is, I was probably more of not Harry's age, but Ron's older brothers. I was more their age. So by the time Harry Potter came out, like they're in like first or second grade. I probably would have been like in fifth grade.
Yeah, I think the actors are my age, just about, or give or take a few years off me. I'm like 24, so.
Oh God! Okay, so just real quick, y'all talking about Harry Potter. There's a movie everyone in the chat needs to go find and watch. It is a unique experience, as far as I know. It's called Swiss Army Man, and it stars Daniel Radcliffe as a Swiss Army Man. He is a jack of all trades utensil for his finder, and the twist did not see coming. It's melancholy and lighthearted, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird experience. You may hate it, but I think you'll appreciate that I keyed you in on something new to experience. It's not the tried and true Hollywood bullshit you get every day.
Okay,
cool.
I kind of looked past the Swiss Army Man when it came out, and I was like, I don't know, but maybe I'll put that as a.
It's a film about farts, and it's great.
Okay, well, now I'm gonna test everybody's sci-fi fiction love. Has anybody besides me seen the movie Equilibrium?
Yeah,
no,
I own that movie.
I wish I could say that I have. I've heard of it, but I have not watched it.
It is one of the best Christian Bale movies you'll ever see, and it really wasn't that popular, which is the funny part.
Hey, Wolf, who would win, Equilibrium or John Wick?
Ooh, that's a good. That's a toss up. That's flip of a coin, man. In the John Wick series, if you haven't watched John Wick, the gun fu is that the thing I like about John Wick is how economical his fighting style is. He uses as little strength as possible, as little energy as possible, but he always ends in like a kill shot.
That sounds pretty cool. I have John Wick, but I have not watched it yet. I plan on that's higher up on my watch next. That's like top 5 of my watch next list. So,
well, I'll tell you this,
Rookie, you got to watch it.
I'll tell you this. Keanu Reeves trained with I think the guy has won every major gun tournament in America for the last decade. That's who he trained with for his marksmanship. So it wasn't just him, pointing a toy gun going pew pew pew. He was literally trained with this guy to be an effective marksman. And the other thing,
he was using a real gun and blanks the entire movie. He even said so.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. But I've seen his training videos, and it's fucking intense.
Yeah, I've seen those too.
But the other thing I was going to add is, I wasn't SF, but I was stationed with the SF, and the way they taught us, extra gun tips, gun handling, and how to fight and stuff, it's on point. The way he, I hate watching cop movies, especially modern day, and they hold their guns fully extended out. That is retarded. You hold your gun close to your chest, especially when you're pieing around a corner. That way you can actually react instead of having to pull your gun back and shoot.
Oh, that's a good point. I never thought of that.
It's little details like that they knew what they were doing, they nailed it, and it makes it more believable for me.
I like it when they make
what I liked about John Wick was how he would use his hands just enough to create an opening to use his gun, which makes so much more sense than a lot of other action films.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really comment.
And the thing is, a lot of his moves were like traps and arm locks and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't like punch. No, he He would literally do the most economic move that would get him a kill shot and then move along.
Yeah, it's so satisfying to watch.
In the chat, Johnny5 says Skateboard Kid is the greatest movie of all time.
Nope, sorry for me. That's Star Trek The Wrath of Khan.
I have no idea what Skateboard Kid is. It makes me think of MVP's Most Valuable Primate. You guys remember that one?
Never heard of that one.
Oh no, that was like
I saw that when I was like 8, I think.
That was an early Disney one. You see that, Angus? He's busy with his kids. Do you guys remember in the chat? Do you guys remember NVP's Most Valuable Primate, where they have like 3 movies where a chimpanzee is like skateboarding, snowboarding, and like doing all these all this shit.
Remember Air Bud?
Silly Air Bud. Yeah, it's along one of those kind of. It's a
Yeah.
I didn't watch those kind of Disney.
Yeah,
those Disney movies came out when I was basically in high school.
Okay, so I don't blame you for not being it. I only expect it really if you grew up with it at all. Otherwise, no, I totally understand not being in it. But yeah, those were pretty funny from back in the day. What was I going to say? So yeah, in a little bit, I think we can get back to some of the film stuff. But I'm pretty sure there was some other things going on lately that Wolf or Angus wanted to bring up for today's chat.
Oh, let's see. Hold on. I actually have to bring up that text. Now I can't think of it off the top of my head. Damn it. Give me a minute here. Oh, yeah. There's also Brie Larson shitting on Stan Lee also. The man created the universe that's about to make you money and you want to crap on him.
Wait,
was
what she say?
Was it that she crapped on him, or was it that she just kind of disrespected him a little?
She was dissing him. It was just like, really, Brie, shut up.
What did she say?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. Something basically just dissing Stan Lee in general.
No, wasn't
I
it
don't remember seeing that
when she's holding her wine cup, being all sophisticated and whatnot or something with it.
Jeremy at Geeks and Gamer really covered it really well.
Oh God, she's insufferable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Angus, we're talking about Brie Larson.
Oh,
and how she dissed Stan Lee, trying to be all sophisticated.
I don't know much about that besides her fucking picture on like Instagram or something.
Yeah,
that's really all I know.
All right.
But,
yeah, I'd like to see that because I don't remember it being a thing.
Well, outside of that, there's also in the European news for any of our European listeners. Let's see. Theresa May is trying to absolutely sabotage Brexit. I mean, the deal she's trying to make. Oh my God! It's basically forced servitude to the EU.
Oh no!
Oh, you want to hear how bad it is? Basically, it's Brexit in name only. But they're still they still have to follow the guidelines of the EU. But the kicker is now they would have no voice or seat at the table. So basically they have to do whatever the EU says, but have no voice in governance.
Proper Jeremy, get it. Is it Article 13?
No, that's
something different. See, that's weird because I would think that if you were in the UK and you were inclined to rejoin the EU, you would use Brexit as a negotiating chip to get a bigger seat at the table.
No. Most of the people who voted in the EU, like Johnny5, who voted to leave the EU, they want completely out.
Yeah,
because the EU has gone completely authoritarian and basically just trying to create a United States of Europe in their image. And a lot of countries are now starting to say, get the hell out, screw you guys.
Don't they want an army now? I saw something they want EU army.
Yes. Emmanuel Macron and Angela Merkel are now trying to bring about a consolidated EU army. And guess what threat they're going to turn it towards? Russia,
America,
China, and America.
Oh boy.
So why? So okay, is the EU? It sounds like something that would either already have an army or it's Europe, right? The European Union.
Right now, the defense of Europe is being covered by NATO, but the EU does have EU brigades, but they're not really a standardized EU army.
Is it bad if the EU does have an army?
Yes.
Well, Yes. Well, look at this, rookie. Who would they use the army against?
I mean, you're asking me, man. I I don't know.
Oh, Hallmark Jeremy said it best. The EU is coming of the Fourth Reich. He ain't far off the mark on that one.
And speaking of Article 13, that sounds like censorship to me, along with wanting to consolidate the EU into like a centralized state. I'm out, dude.
Oh yeah. Oh, Article 13 is straight up censorship. And Article 11 is just as bad.
It's funny because like they want their army and shit, but they won't contribute shit to NATO.
No,
but they're gonna expect everyone in the EU to contribute to the EU army. It's not gonna happen.
Well, Sith, here's the thing. They're basically the goal of Macron, Theresa May, and Angela Merkel, and the leader of Brussels is to basically dismantle NATO and replace it with the EU army and kick us out of Europe as the controlling force to defend them. That's the whole angle.
Well, good luck with that, because I think it's going to blow up in their face.
Oh, I can guarantee you right now, Eastern Europe, where regardless of what happens with Brexit, are angling to leave the European Union, especially authoritarian as it does.
Putin and China would never fucking let that happen. It's going to be a shit show.
Putin doesn't have the money to do anything about the European Union. China doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, Putin does have control of a lot of the Eastern European countries, all the satellite countries.
No, he's maybe the Ukraine, but like Poland, the Czech Republics.
Because think about it.
All of them.
Back in the day, they took over those satellite countries because they wanted a wall of defense from the West, right?
Yeah.
If the EU makes an army, Putin's going to use it as a pretense to re-annex those countries, saying like, okay, we need to rebuild this wall of defense from the European army now.
Putin would love to, but he doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the capability of doing it. He can't.
They can build a snow fort.
They can build a what?
A snow fort.
Yeah, no.
I don't know how cold it is over there. I don't know.
Sorry, Cub, but Sith, I have to tell you, Putin does not have the military muscle or the finances to be able to do it. He can't. He doesn't.
Well, I don't think he'd need much for those surrounding countries like fucking Lithuania and shit.
He does that, the United States will go to war, and it'll be a war he cannot win. Trust me. Putin, as much as he may want to get those countries back, he can't do it. He doesn't have the money.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to give USSR any props, but weren't those countries better off before the EU? Because I remember reading a thing, I'm very interested with Romania. I don't follow a lot about them, but I love Vlad the Impaler, and so I want to go to Castle Dracula and sightsee. I remember reading a thing in like Net Geo about how the EU regulations are pretty much fucking the milk industry of Romania because they're too poor to keep up with it. And so it's like things like that where regulation actually destroys industry. That's why China beats us, because they have no regulation.
Well, Angus, here's the thing, though. As much as it's destroying their industry, the EU is pumping a lot of money into those countries, though, so they can't be too pissed about it.
No, just Nicole Millette in the chat says, "Did you know they want to give Hitler a sex change to make him more mellow?"
Oh God!
I don't understand.
Oh, you want to hear about SJWs eating their own? I can't remember what country. I think it was New Zealand, where someone in their Senate was trying to talk about abortion.
Oh, Australia.
What?
Australia.
And the guy basically said, "Okay, well, identify as a woman. Now you can't shit on me." And and it gets better. Places like Vox are trying to say, "No, he's lying. We don't recognize it." And it's like, "Oh boy, you don't understand the slippery slope you're about to envelop upon."
Oh boy, here it comes.
Dude, this happened in Mexico. People were trying to run for I think it was like some affirmative action shit in Mexico, and so like there can only be so many men running, and so these men are like, "Oh, well, we're women," and the SJWs like sniffed them out. They're like, "Well, you're not really living, you're living as a cis male. You're just pretending," and it's like that's what it is anyway.
It's so funny how fast SJWs become like right wingers as soon as it's somebody who disagrees with their logic.
Mm-hmm. or how they'll claim that they're defending them, and then as soon as somebody of that says something against them, they hate them.
Or if a Mexican makes a Last Jedi re-edit.
Oh yeah.
What I love about is the SJWs, and this is something I'm going to bring up about Stan Lee and why I call them NPCs. They have no human decency and they have no empathy whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
The Lone Wolf Cub says, "Let's talk porn again. We need viewers." And Homer Jeremy says, "Star Wars porn."
Yeah. hey, Wolf, did you catch the end of my my utter chaos with Rookie and
No, I haven't.
Kitty Glitter, dude. Yeah, Homer Jerry's like, "Oh yeah, Star Wars brothels and go."
That was hilarious, by the way.
Brothel.
It is.
You throw in some Twi'leks, some Zabrix, and some Zeltrons. I'm good to go.
Zeltron, which one's that?
They have reds. You ever played Knights of the Old Republic 2?
No, I've only played the first one.
Okay, well, Zeltrons they have red skin, like really dark red skin. They're empaths, and they also have pheromones that can make you that can sway your emotions to do what they want.
This is sounding like Pocahontas. Am I far off?
No. Have you ever read Shadows of the Empire?
Fuck, is that the one with like the dude's got like the weird man bunish ponytail on top of his head?
Yeah,
and, like, yeah, it's like in between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
I've read like half of it.
Well, you know how Xizar was using his pheromones to try to influence Leia?
Yeah.
Zeltrons can do the same thing, but they have dark red skin, and they are very, very promiscuous, for lack of a better term.
Oh, well, just in case you're wondering, Rookie, the only thing he offered up was Gungans have long tongues, so women must like them.
I did.
Oh, so
only you, Rookie.
I didn't say that's what I prefer. I said that's what women would prefer. But
sure.
Yeah. I would say in the chat though, 6 Scale said, "Geoff TheIronWolf, you need to have a self-reflection to have empathy, or you need to have self-reflection to have empathy."
Well, to have self-reflection, you need logic, and NPCs have no logic.
Yep, they only have talking points that their fucking hippie professors give them.
Well, I was watching this one video because I think it was when what's his name? That's the Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro was doing this thing, and he was talking to all these liberals, and they're talking about why transgender suicide is so high. And it's like, well, how are you gonna fix this? And you know what my reply would have been? Well, if you'd stop filling their crap full of emotions and talking points and actually start teaching them facts and letting them come out from a place of logic and reason and figure things out for themselves, they probably wouldn't be so fucked up in the head.
Oh yeah, dude. And stop telling them that it's like it's a choice and shit. Like the strongest argument they have is that it's based in biology. But they want to discredit biology at the same time. So it's like I don't think the left is really the friend of transgenders.
No, dude, it's funny you say that because
25. I do like Dash Render and Kyle Katarn. They are awesome.
Oh hell yeah, they are.
It's funny you said that, Seth, because I was in this bug class. Entomology is really interesting, and it was more about like the broad effects of bugs and stuff. And there was a part where we had to read articles about like politics and science and people denying science. It was pretty much all attacking right people, or like creationism and climate change with the right. And it's like my rebuttal, because you have to like make a reply to show that you've read the articles and then you've read someone else's rebuttals and like have conversations between each other about it. And I'm like, well, it's funny because the left is also anti-science about biology of humans and stuff. You know, like they ignore the fact that like you watch ContraPoints, and ContraPoint, she's pretty smart at philosophy and shit, or whatever it is, because it's genderqueer. But she tries to say like intersex is another sex and stuff, and it's like, no, it's a deformity of the XX or XY programming of the human DNA. Like it's fucking simple.
It's
and
the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, like they are deformities of what a binary norm is. It's not some new sex. Like you can't mate with a a chromosomally deformed person and have like, it's not like another sex you're having sex with. It's varying degrees of complications.
Yeah, and they're always more towards one than the other. They're either more male than female in the genital department or more female than male.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had an intersex friend in grade school going into high school, and surprisingly, being from a small town, Oklahoma, and how they handled it, it went smoothly. They had like this kind of a grand announcement for like the 400 of us at school, like, Talisa is actually Max. We're not going to talk about it, but he's Max. Be nice to him. And that was it. And, you know, as right wing and shit as the place I'm from is, no one bothered him.
Yeah, well, I mean, it only becomes a problem for me is like when they want to write it into law that you have to use like 700 pronouns like they did in Canada.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
nobody's gonna remember all that shit.
Yeah, just to be clear, it wasn't like that. It was by the time he hit puberty, they kind of realized that they fucked up on his surgery and they picked the wrong sex. So
Yep.
he agreed to reassignment to the correct sex.
Yeah, it's funny, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like the same thing with the abortion argument where they point to like, well, what if a woman is raped, but they don't mention that that's like 0.001% of all abortions, and that we can clearly make an exception in those cases and still be pro-life in this country.
That's a good point.
Or better yet, the fact that 30% are black people that abort themselves. This is a problem that I plan to make a video about being a black person. Because I watched, what's that fucking movie? Black Klansman. And as good as a movie it is, showing both sides of like radicalism, it ends up trying to be like Orange Man bad at the end and trying to extrapolate that he's a Klansman and stuff and the Klan's still alive.
Oh my God.
And it's like, Spike Lee, you're so worried about, you know, these issues for black people. Why don't you address that we abort ourselves more than any other race?
Well, the thing is, I don't like about the whole black people argument, especially on the left, is that, oh, we're so oppressed, but then we're this, but then we're that, but then we're this, but then we're that, and they just want to keep us on quote unquote the reservation. If you go off it, you're such a horrible person. You're Uncle Tom, and you're all. It's like, you wonder why black people are leaving the Democratic Party in fucking droves.
Dude, we was kings. What are you talking about?
You what?
I said we was kings. What are you talking about? I guess y'all don't know that.
No,
during Black Panther, there's like this push to revise history, saying that black people were Egyptians and that they, you know, were like the great people of the great empires of Egypt. Instead of the Arabic
black people were Egyptian.
Yeah, like black people had empires, but like they were separate from Egypt, which is Arabic people.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's Middle Eastern.
Johnny5 in the chat says he's actually at risk of being kicked off his college art course if I make an comment that argues against my colleague's gender for our trans.
Yeah, it's the same way in my school. There's certain shit that, you know, if you say, it's just gonna cause a fucking stir. Just keep your head down and get good grades, and when you get out, you can like make a difference.
Then they have a voice later, just not now. Yeah, just a little ridiculous.
And whatever you do, if you find yourself in a situation where you are getting heat from someone at your school, don't apologize, because to them, that's just an admission of guilt.
And it's blood in the water.
Yeah, just keep it moving. Yeah,
it's a good point, I'd say. Changing it up a little bit on here. Mundane Matt is streaming. Mundane Matt is live streaming, or was live streaming. I tuned in for a little bit, which I guess what he's talking about for a few minutes was fine, and then I was bored hearing him, so I just switched off.
Mundane Matt's an idiot.
I was gonna give him some credit. I was like, hey, you know, maybe he's just kind of boring. My God, no, shut up. Have you guys peeked in on him at all since his Boulder incident?
Dude, no. Have you ever seen anyone with a more fitting name than Mundane Matt?
No, mundane means boring, right? Like something like stale. God, that's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect for him because my God,
it was like when I first found him in his $3 theater. He had some good points to say, but then he just like lost his freaking mind.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to watch $3 all the time.
Yeah, same here. But sometimes too, I mean, even if he makes a good point, he says it so boring that I don't want to hear more of his videos. It's like, okay, then I watch another one. Okay, another one. I'm falling asleep by then. And then, I don't know. I decided to bring that up because that's a little funny, just because of all the drama with him. But then, Doomcock, Mauler, and Rags are doing a live stream right now as well. One of their EFAPs. Do you guys watch those?
Ooh.
I
check
tried
that
to
out
at
later.
time, but I would love to do a live stream with Doomcock and Mecha Random.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
They're both awesome. Yeah.
I think everybody
Can y'all
wants
tell
that.
too, but
Can y'all tell me the deal with Monday Matt? I never followed him. I only heard about him in passing. I don't know what his
He used
snake
to
point
have
was.
relevancy and things to talk about, but then he started losing subs, so we started attacking all the people who are up and coming, aka the High Council. They tried to give him a chance to talk it out, and he basically shoved his foot farther down his throat and just became irrelevant.
Well, no, it's more than
no.
that.
Well, here's what.
I was going to say, it was more than that, because when people would make any type of video about him, he would false flag their content. He would try to get their channels taken down, or at least those videos about him taken down, when they have complete right to do it. And it was ironic because he would criticize people all the time. And, so he's being a hypocrite extremely over it. Go ahead, Seth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he got exposed on the kill stream. They kind of put him in a corner and made him admit it. And it's so funny because he did the same thing when he went on the High Council. He'll talk so much shit about someone and get angry, and then as soon as he's in front of them, he'll go, "Oh, I deal with mental health. I get angry sometimes. I'm sorry. I think about suicide sometimes." And you feel bad for him. And then you start seeing the pattern because he does it again, and then a few months later he'll do it again.
Yeah, it's like
and
years.
It's like, yeah.
And so he just the way he was doing it, like as a creator and affecting other people, and the way he tries to talk about freedom of speech in some of his videos. I mean, he lost all credibility and loyalty because he was supposed to be like an honest voice, and he was like speaking up with the Gamergate things, I suppose. And he just, completely lost all the trust, because on the kill stream, they're like, well, actually, we have a way to prove whether or not you flagged people or not. You can bring up a history of people you flagged, and they brought up their history of things that they flagged and showed it to everyone on the stream and explained to him how to do it too. And he was like, and after like 20 minutes, finally brought it up and proved all the people he flagged. And it was just, oh my God.
Cringe. You could feel the panic in him when he would say, because you knew he was trying to stall.
Or he's like, guys, I'm getting it. Hold on. This thing's, hold on. It's not working. It's loading. It's like, not. It's like, dude, really?
They were like, Matt, stop deleting.
It was funny because then they all started doing it themselves, like one by one. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I feel good that I've only really been following EVS and World Class Bullshitters, and I'll jump in on Geeks and Gamers sometimes, but I don't follow them. So it's been pretty consistent for me in my YouTube experience, where I haven't had a following, end up being a phony and anti-free speech.
Yeah.
Makes
sense.
But the great thing is, like, Geeks and Gamers, he's bringing up this thing about Kathleen Kearney saying producers really didn't do shit, and I actually had a counter video for him about damn it, I can't think of the producer for Star Trek 2, but he produced Star Trek 2, 3, and 4. Without him, we probably wouldn't have Star Trek as we know it today. Or like he likes to always talk about Christopher Nolan, how great he is. Well, the reason why The Dark Knight was so good is because Christopher Nolan was also a producer.
But
the thing is, Jeremy was like, okay, you came in, you made your point, I made my counterpoint, we had a nice discourse about it. I got to give Jeremy that. When you actually bring something up to his attention like that, he takes it like a man. Monday Matt does not.
Yeah, I remember when Jeremy got into it with what's his name? Star Wars Explained. He handled that really well.
Well, at first he didn't. I mean, Jeremy he does everything at 110%. So
yeah, he does. You step on his toe, he'll go, what the fuck did you step on my toe for? And then he'll step back and go, hey, it's cool, man.
But you know what? At least he's honest about it.
Are you falling down? What are you doing? We can hear this ruffling, and it sounds like you're like tumbling over or something.
No, I was on my couch and I was kind of laying down. Now I sat up.
I was imagining you in a dryer or something, just tumbling around. That's what it sounded like. Anyway, what were you about to say with Jeremy?
No, it's like with Jeremy or any of the high council. If you bring something to their attention and they've gaffed on, they will more than happily own up to their mistake. People like Mundane Matt do not.
That's a good comparison. Good analogy. Yeah. I was gonna ask you guys, and I was gonna ask the chat too. Would you guys say that even us? Would you say that we are in our own type of echo chamber lately, or do you say that we're still in an open-minded thing? But I don't know. Do you guys think we're in an echo chamber at all?
What do you mean by echo chamber?
Like we keep on recycling the same stuff, only talking about the same things, and only hearing the same stuff. Like we are only listening to the High Council, for example, and Doomcock and whatnot. We're not venturing out to hear the opposite side as well.
Actually, no. I actually do. Like Tim Pool, he actually gives a very liberal point of view. And I also listen to Styx Hammer. He gives a pretty much center right at best point of view. It's always good to go out and find those people who have completely different points of view. I've actually found a couple of independent people, actually young people who are independent, who basically point the finger at both parties and go, "No, you're both full of crap."
Yeah, I don't feel an echo chamber. I don't get to follow Bill Maher like I like, but I like Sam Harris. I don't agree on no one I find I agree on with everything. I like Ben Shapiro, I like Crowder, but I also listen to Maher. Listen to Sam Harris. Just that alone will give you a diverse look at things politically. And with Star Wars, I was just chatting with you earlier today about this guy that I view as a Disney shill, and you're like, well, he's not getting anything out of it. He doesn't even have 1,000 subs. I was like, no, but he's getting a soy-based following because he's like the mirror opposite. But the thing is, with our anti-Disney Star Wars stance, we actually give logical reasons why we hate stuff, as opposed to the soy-based people just say, oh, you call us SJW, you're meanies and you're racist and this and that. We actually back up why we hate something.
Yeah, like urban acolyte.
Angus, we'll more than happily listen to your other side as long as you will logically engage us in discourse, not just say it's bad. Yeah.
You called Ryan a roundhead. How would you like it? That's what somebody said to me on Twitter.
How would you like it? Is that what they said?
Yeah, I told him, I was like, I wouldn't care because I'm not 5.
I'd be like, well, okay, and what else do you have to say? Okay.
my reply would be like, yeah, and that was supposed to hurt my horse.
That's good. Yeah, I like you guys' response with that, because I just like to bring that up just because I've noticed lately a lot of people sometimes might say that people like us are repeating the same things, or like that, the guys on our side are more just closed-minded too in our own circles and only follow the hordes. But from our view, at least down here, at least as far as sub count goes, I feel like we're very open-minded. We watch our bigs, we watch other people's, we try to see different points of views and bring different conversations to the table big time. Ask the chat as well. Proper Jeremy says, I'm a liberal myself, but my family is mostly conservative. By definition, I agree with them economically. And to combat, or he's saying that he's not far left, though. And Tony Clark says he listens to everything, never miss an opportunity to troll. I agree.
I feel like every time you listen to someone on the far left, it's just you just watch him slide deeper into insanity for no reason other than to just slide into insanity.
And same with the far right too. Like when you listen to Richard Spencer and Vox Day and shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. That's good.
But I will say that as far as the Star Wars side of things, if we're repeating the same things, that's probably because we're all talking about the same issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, this only brought to my attention when Angus linked me this guy's YouTube channel, and I was just thinking with it, because the guy was saying, oh, these guys keep on saying soy stuff, and the way that they're reacting over episode 9 things and whatnot. Okay, in a way, I was kind of agreeing that, this is why I brought up reactions earlier. Okay, I think that, some people react a little too harshly on small words that don't really mean all that much. But then again,
oh yeah,
these are...
Morton Bay. I interviewed Morton Bay on my channel. He's the guy who did the Russian bot study. And he was making a case to me that the term SJW was sexist, racist, and something else. And I was like, the term SJW, what are you talking about? And I was like, it's like part of internet vernacular. Everybody says that. It's a descriptor for like extremists on the left. And he was like, no, it's an alt-right buzzword. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter like say like, oh, you said soy, so you're alt-right because that's an alt-right buzzword. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you not understand memes? Do you not understand internet culture? Like that word becomes something else.
Well, Sid,
yeah,
there's something funny that Tim Pool brought up. The left can't meme.
Yeah, true.
And if you ever stop and listen to it, they can't.
Yeah, dude, like the NPC meme, I've seen leftists try to retool it, and they'll put MAGA hats on everyone, and they'll say like, if socialist equals communist, if this equals that. It's like, yeah, but there's legitimate arguments about why we say that. Or it's like when offering communism, rebut with Venezuela. It's like, yeah, that's because they're legitimate arguments that are like tried and true for the right to rebut the left. Like that's all you can do is copy and make lesser versions. It's like they're the Dollar Tree of
my favorite example. My favorite example is the Young Turks when like they throw around the word snowflake, like this right-wing snowflake. I was like, okay, just stop.
Well, what I was going to finish saying, though, too, about the Star Wars thing, about him, about saying how YouTubers keep on responding to Star Wars stuff. This guy has a Star Wars channel. It's like the AT-AT or something. And
no, why?
Well, what I was about to say, I don't remember what his channel's name was, but it's like he was saying that, all these people need to stop responding. They need to get over The Last Jedi. Came out about a year ago. They need to stop talking about it, get over it. This guy's channel is a Star Wars channel, and he talks about positive stuff about The Last Jedi, positive reviews on the Resistance, positive take on the Cassian thing. He's talking positive stuff, and he's responding to articles that come out about Star Wars. And I'm like, dummy, I mean, I don't mean to offend the guy, but it's like, dude, you're doing the same thing, but in reverse. You're just talking about, you're responding to articles, your YouTube channel. Those guys are YouTube channels. They respond to articles. They're talking about the thing that's been talked about. I mean, is it that hard to comprehend either when talking about it? Go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying anything. I was just laughing.
Yeah, well, it's just like, well, I don't know. I don't understand how you can think that way, like, because they'll think that we're just, bitter, that goes with the whole fanboy tears thing. And it's just, no, it's not about that. If anything, to me, Star Wars is something most people know about, whether they like it, hate it, know a little bit about it, or whatever. So it's a conversation piece. And, whether it's a fun conversation to have, whether it's, about something good about it or bad, it's a conversation.
Well, here's the thing also with that is, like, I'm not a original trilogy diehard. That's not how I got into Star Wars. I'm a prequel guy. I found the original because of the prequels, but I know that the prequels are much better written stories, and so I've grown to love them. And watching, like, I've seen The Last Jedi, and I can't, erase it from my memory. So me not being the diehard Luke fan, I watch Return of the Jedi and I try to explain to my wife, like, see, look, this happens. This is why Last Jedi fucking sucks. It's just throughout the original trilogy, you watch it and you can't help but think, this is why Last Jedi is awful, because it retroactively makes you not want to watch these movies that you've loved for decades.
Yes, it tarnishes characters. It makes
about kill the past.
Oh boy.
It makes every time I pick up a point like that, Sith goes, "Oh no."
It's real pain. But yeah, I mean, you go back and like you see where Luke ends up, and you go watch the original trilogy, and you're just like, but this isn't gonna last. Or you see Rey do all these crazy things, and you go back and you look at Anakin and Obi-Wan, and like it's like, wow, you guys train all these decades for nothing. Rey can just do this. Like, you guys suck.
Well, and it's just more insulting too on people that actually take time to learn a profession. Like Alex Lathis, one of the first guys we had on the Rookie Corner, he's a professional fencer, and I asked him, I'm like, what if somebody just picked up a sword and like beat you? They never trained a day in their life with that, and they beat you. He's like, that's impossible. And he even said, like, his instructor, or one of his old guys, are like in their 60s or 70s, 80s, that even though they're old, they could still kick his butt, even though he's more in his prime. Like, you can't. like in real life or in fantasy, you can't just pick it up and win. Like,
Yeah,
no matter
I
what.
use the boxing example. Conor McGregor had a bunch of fighting experience, but he didn't have boxing experience. So if Ray's good with the staff, that doesn't mean she's going to be good with the lightsaber. Kylo should have dispatched her very easily, just like Floyd did to Conor.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I was also going to say last night on your stream, I wish I could have popped on for it, but I was at stupid work. But when you're talking about what could happen with Rey and stuff, and with Kylo and them, well, I thought it'd be interesting. I still thought this was going to be the main point, was Finn maybe being the main character, but he's not the Jedi. Like if Rey was the secondary character, but the Jedi, and or doing whatever, or she became the Sith. I mean, then it'd be a non-Jedi needing to use whatever skills he can against a Sith, like a Force user. And at first you might think, well, they can't win. They're going to get their asses kicked. Well, no, because they've proven in Star Wars there are things that the Force can't always do. So if there's something in Star Wars lore that can negate the Force or tamper it down, then
See, that's
they could do that.
If Rey had won by using like wits or something, I'd have been fine with it, but she just used straight up lightsaber to lightsaber combat, and she just overpowered him.
Yeah, like if there's
That's
some
the
type
problem.
of
She opened up to the Force. I mean, it'd been one thing if that this is how I wish they would have done it. Rey opens up to the Force, and she just uses basic brute strength with maybe a little bit of swordsmanship. Minor martial arts, like kind of like self-taught stuff that she learned on Jakku, and just basically. Kind of like when Luke beat down Vader, had done something like that because she just got this massive rush of power and just went apeshit on him.
Exactly.
That would have been believable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, she gets faster, she gets quicker, her strikes are more precise. It's like the Force doesn't work like that.
No.
It's like when Harrison Ford in The Force Awakens, it doesn't work like that.
Well, and it's like one of the main things that bugs me is that they would tell us that she is a powerful woman, and you don't like that. And in my head, all I'm thinking is, that in that moment, even all the way up until that point in the movie, you could have made me care about her if we could see her struggle. Like she's trying her best to protect Finn after he got cut down, and she's trying to defeat him after he just killed Han and everything. And no matter what she's doing, she can't.
I wonder,
like she can't win. Like if Kylo playing with her. Like just toying with her.
I wonder if people who say that sorry to interrupt, Rookie, but this fucking pisses me off. I wonder if people who say that we're sexist for complaining about Rey would stop and think for one fucking second that maybe we're just really disappointed because we wanted to actually like her as a character. Like, I don't know about you guys, but going into The Force Awakens, I thought she was a great idea.
Yeah, me too. When I mean, before that, I've seen all these toy commercials where like the little sisters are playing with their big brothers, playing Star Wars, and they're playing as Rey and stuff. And I'm like, that's cool. I mean, that's cool. Oh, Wolf dropped out. Yeah, I'll see if he comes back in. But yeah, it's cool, and we want that. Go ahead.
Like, you idiots, we want to fucking like her. That's why it pisses us off so much.
Yeah, like I had the fucking pop of her. I think I still do, but I put it at like the very bottom of my shelf because I don't want to fucking see her or Phasma. Because they're disappointments. Like I was there Force Friday. I bought Phasma. Like I knew it was a woman. I knew it was Brienne of Tarth. Like I wanted to like her. And with Rey, she was a welcome surprise until Deus Ex Machina for her with Kylo and shit. And it's like. And then you watch Last Jedi, and it confirms it because Snoke is like a girl beach. And this is a thing. This is one of the first Star Wars videos I made. I call it Star Wars Civil Wars before the soy caught, but when it was building up. And I talk about these fucking Last Jedi fans. They shit on the prequels because it's cool to do because there's memes of the prequels and stuff. And it's like prequels fans, we laugh at those memes because they're funny. Because it's like, yeah, there's a problem where it's not acted well. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Funny. We laugh at it ourselves.
Yeah, we agree.
But
yeah,
they shit on the prequels and they're like, oh, midichlorians, it quantifies the Force and that, and yet they like Rey, and her story arc is midichlorians unsaid because she is the light to meet the darkness. She's just a counterbalance. So she's midichlorians without even a backstory of a great Sith that made her like Anakin. She's midichlorians.
She's a fucking paperweight. She's a paperweight.
Yeah, and it's like those same people love Last Jedi and they shit on Episode 1 and the prequels and stuff, and it's like you don't get like the inconsistencies of the prequels don't hurt the story overall. Like there's little things like, Obi-Wan should know who R2 is, but then you can right away and say, well, he looks at droids as all the same. He hates every fucking droid. That's an easy right away. Or like, well, why does the Empire, if they're from the Republic, why is their ship so shitty? And it's like, well, they based the TIE fighters on the Jedi Interceptor, not taking into account that it was Force users flying the ships, so they mass-produced very poor machinery. Like those are easy ride-arounds, as opposed to like
when R2 was
Rey.
more Anakin's droid than Obi-Wan's.
Still, yeah, but he knew he was always in the company of Obi-Wan, you know. Things like that are inconsistencies. They don't hurt the overarching story that is Lucas's storytelling, as opposed to Episode 8.
Harrison Ford is in the chat and says, "Excuse me, I said that's not how the Force works. Don't misquote me. Don't misquote me." Harrison says, "Dion." I asked him how's freedom been for him from the horse shitters, and he's like, "Dion and I were in court on Thursday, hence why we couldn't be on the show. It went well for me." I'm going to invite Wolf back in here. He had to dip out for a sec. So, yeah, you guys, hold on. I was saying he was in the chat or something, but yeah, I almost lost the point. We're talking about a second ago.
No, sorry I interrupted. I had to rant a little bit about the Rey thing.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I really lost my point, but that's all right.
Sorry.
We're talking about
We're
Rey.
talking about Rey and versus Jedi.
Okay, right. So I was saying along the lines of they could have had us right there to like them and talking about the girls. And okay, yeah, with the female things. No, what was I gonna say? Fuck, I almost had it.
So you need a notebook, Rookie.
Yeah, I have notes here, but I didn't write down. I should have written down my thoughts as soon as Sith was talking, so I could keep
now
back.
You fucked up.
That's all right. Now you didn't fucked it up. Sure, but god damn it, it was something about with women and Star Wars. What the hell was I going to say? With
like Finn, like him being a non-Jedi.
Yeah, I was saying.
Jedi,
right.
But she's a
Right. I was saying that there's so many ways that they could work around having something like that work, where you could have a non-Jedi fight an actual Jedi or a Sith. And I think even if they did it that way, that would have been fine. But also, like with Rey, they could have had us like her by making her struggle in that scene with Kylo. That's where I was. If she was putting up a big fight, all that she can, trying all she can to just avenge Han's death and protect Finn, and still fail. And then, you could still have the Deus Machina of the ground splitting, but have her lose with that. And, Kylo obviously being a lot more skilled would have been a good way to end it, I think, instead of this is the moment where she's the most powerful woman in this universe. And I don't know if you guys watch Dragon Ball, which I know Angus doesn't. Do you, Sith?
I used to watch it as a kid.
Yeah, well, it's like like if they had Goku, the main guy, like just be stronger than like Frieza or Cell without any progression or any training or anything, it'd be pretty fucking boring. Which is what
Goku
they did with this.
Amazing because of his training, fucking just coming back and winning. How many times did he fucking die in that show and have to come back?
Well, not only that, he's needed the help of his friends. He's needed to learn. He's needed to learn techniques from everyone. That was the main thing. He learned the most techniques from everyone on how to fight. If he didn't know all these techniques, he would have gotten his ass kicked multiple times.
Yeah, you make a good point, and I like your idea of like a Jedi doesn't necessarily have to be the hero of a Star Wars story. Or not Star Wars, of a trilogy.
Yeah, you can have other characters in it instead of just a Jedi. That's the thing, too. They keep on saying that we need to change, we need to evolve, all this stuff. And it's like, you could have done so many things, but you just chose to go this route. And we just aren't really liking where you're taking it. You had 2 movies to take us in a direction that we could like, and we looked at it, decided, no, we don't really like it. And that's like if I said I wrote something like, the Jedi all went on the school bus and they went round and round, and they ran over a piece of poop and slid and fell off a cliff. And if you don't like it, you're a racist or something. It's like I don't understand that. It's no, we wanted a better story, and I don't understand at all how they get to that. That's why I want to have a somebody that's not in our circle on here, like the guy that Angus mentioned earlier with the link, to at least see if he's capable of having a discussion with us.
Oh, dude, I was watching his. He has a debate with a guy who's got like 4,000 subs, and I was listening to it, And it's funny because he's like, "Oh man, you should read the Last Jedi book. It makes it so much better." And it's like, no. You don't get to rely like I'm aware that the books can accentuate like okay, one of the things they were debating that the guy got wrong was that Luke was tapping into the dark side when he fought Vader. It's like he did, and it's more expanded upon in the book that yeah, he was tapping into the dark side, and like he comes an inch close to falling for the Emperor's plan. But that's why like the color scheme matters because he's wearing black, but then you see the piece of his shirt is flapped open and it's white to show like his inner character is remain light side. So there's
but that's also evident in that scene though. It's not like something that was just added into the book to
that's
up
what I'm
for
saying. It's like, but the book helps expand on that. So I agree that the books can help expand the appreciation of a movie. Like episode 1, there's a couple scenes in episode 1 that's like, why didn't they film this? It would have made the story even more complete. But you can't rely on that to like sell the movie, and that's I fell for that with The Force Awakens. I bought the freaking Aftermath book. I bought the Shattered Empire 4-part comic, and it's like, where's the freaking Force tree that Poe Dameron's mom gets? What was the point of this? It was just a money maker. That's all it was. They're like, it's got Star Wars, people are going to buy it, and now they're crapping their pants because no one's buying Star Wars.
Well, and honestly, I think you brought this up many times too, where they'll tell us that they want to move forward, but they keep on bringing us to the past again with all these things and trying to expand on all these characters, like in the EU or in their books and stuff, like give more detail. And it's just, what is it they really want too? I mean, what are they doing? Are they trying to get us on this, still sell us on the same characters, get us back onto the old characters, more with the new? What the hell are they doing?
Well, the new ones aren't selling shit, so they're relying on the old characters.
Well, and honestly, I like when Jeff Hicks does the toy things because honestly, I'm trying to think of myself as a kid looking at the Star Wars rack and remembering, picking out Plo Koon or Kit Fisto, characters who I don't even know if they have one line in the movies, but they stand out cool. They look cool, and it can be remembered like that. And I know their names, and they don't say a freaking line. And then I look at Holdo's Muff and Tico and all these and Jin and all these people, Saw Gerrera, Cassian. I'm like, why would I buy them? What about that? What about them? What about them? What I have fun with playing as a kid?
Yeah, I was thinking about this too, and the only one that I could think that I'd want to buy is Kylo, just because like he's who he's like related to, and the mask,
and the lightsabers. Yeah, that's a unique look. And honestly, if they could have kept that as it was, how they did in The Force Awakens in a way, and I still think that would have been okay. I mean, not great. But I do think that there should have been a different reason why he was wearing the mask. He doesn't have to be disfigured. That could have just been for intimidation, which means whenever he's around people or his troops or the enemy, he's wearing it, and maybe he only takes it off in private.
Or how about we don't even know? How about we don't even know his identity till episode 9 when he takes the mask off?
What if he was the girl? What if he's Rey's long lost sister?
He just transitions in episode 8.
I don't know.
He just assumed his gender.
Yes.
He lost to Rey, so he decided that he needs to be a girl now, so it's not embarrassing.
I'm saying he was a girl the whole time.
Oh, on the inside.
No, just a girl the whole time. Just looks like a dude.
This is going to a weird place.
I don't know. They always do after the first hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we had Cecil to pop in and be like, hello.
Yes.
If I may interject.
That would be fantastic.
Oh my god, Sith. Speaking of that, watch, I can't remember which video it is. I guess it's the only Fandom Menace video Rookie's got that, like, after he introduced the idea. And there's a part where DJD show, and I guess some of his colleagues made an animated thing over the voice track of the High Council with EVS and World Class Bullshitters, and Cecil is there, and they're like, have them animated as like Jedi Council members and stuff. And it feels like, may I interject? And then EVS is like, oh fuck, and it's so good. And then there's a part where like EVS is like, all right, I just bought the Clone Wars on Blu-ray because all my fans keep telling me to buy it. I spent $110 getting it. And then Jeff's like, wait, you spent $110? I can get that on eBay for $7. He's like, oh fuck me.
I remember that.
No,
can you make me that video after, Angus?
What's that?
Yeah, it's on the D. Or are you talking about the Phantom Menace one or the DJD show animation?
The animation.
The one with the animation, yeah.
Yeah, that's on the DJD show, or I split all of that whole video onto my video as well.
Johnny 5 said Zaire, who made it.
Oh, who made it? Yeah, so the DJD show at least hosted it. He did some of it. There was actual other people involved, so he didn't directly make it. But yeah, I don't remember the other people involved that made it. I was gonna read the chat too. They were like, they can have a sexy lesbian force Skype. That may complicate things a bit. Chat roulette, the force, shit like that. So Kylo's reverse trap.
Wait,
That
so
was
if he's a girl, would he change his name to like Kyla Hen?
I don't know. They probably keep it the same so you don't assume the gender. I don't know. I'm trying to actually look for Cecil and see if I can send him a link. That'd be funny.
That'd be so epic
if he did just come in. Hello,
Yeah.
who's this?
I would fangirl.
Cecil, oh no!
I haven't even
God,
listened to Cecil in a while. I miss him though.
Yeah, he doesn't pop onto their streams as often, or he does toward the end, but not like halfway or anything.
I feel like he used to do it more before he teamed up with Nurkish.
Yeah, well, Nurkish did him dirty, so I don't know how that's going now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole fucking situation in itself.
Yeah, did you have a chance to talk on that at all, Sith?
About
with the Nurkish thing?
Yeah, I don't know. My understanding of it is like there's like a squabble now because Ethan thinks that he should be responsible for what's said in his Discord because it could reflect badly on like the whole Comicsgate community. And then Cecil kind of got shafted out of Cash Grab. I don't know if my understanding is correct or not, but
it's kind of like that. Angus, do you want to give him the deets on that?
Essentially, there was something anti-Semitic in the Discord that I guess was super anti-Semitic. I guess Mel Brooks wouldn't even laugh. I don't know.
Yeah, it was really bad.
And so, yeah, EVS is just looking out for himself. Especially, he's already been targeted being called a Nazi and stuff before. So, like, everyone's hot looking for anything to entrap him with. And guilty by association is how the SJWs attack you. That fucking Young Bluth guy tried to attack him in a debate, saying like, "Oh, you read Vox Day's SJW book," and he's like, "Well, yeah, he's not wrong about SJWs," and then he's trying to indict him, saying like, "Oh, well, you read his stuff, so you're a Nazi," and it's like, no one on the right calls someone a communist because they read Karl Marx. We judge them on their actions. Like it's crazy. It's a thought crime.
I think EVS was also saying something about like Nurkish was like being threatened to be doxxed because of it by some group, and then EVS was looking out for him about that.
Yeah, there was that. That at least was argued by EVS. I don't blame EVS. Like, I do try to. I say try because sometimes you get put in weird positions like EVS. I do try to support complete free speech, but free speech comes at a cost. I don't think there should be exactly, but it happens. You are indicted by your free speech. You have every right to say N-word at me all day, but we can boot you from ever being on the Cinema Squad.
Yeah. The whole thing about free speech is government interference.
Yeah. I don't know. So
I feel like with Nurkish though, like, what's the big deal if he just like deleted it and kicked that guy from the Discord? No one's going to accuse him of all of a sudden being pro censorship.
I think that was the thing because he wasn't doing anything about it. He was just saying, "I don't care," and just leaving it at that and letting it happen.
Oh, well, you can't say you don't care.
He just wasn't really paying attention to it, I think, and just letting whatever happen on there. So that was why EBS was worried.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like there's a drama every month with Comicsgate.
Oh, I know. Well, that's why when EVS said he's all caps comics and left, I was like, oh, fuck, that's great.
Yeah, but I think he's back now.
I mean, well, hold on. When people say he's back, he's not there. I don't think the words matter. I mean, he believes in the people that are in it for the most part and promotes them and stuff. And I think that's the main
put a
thing.
tweet out, though.
I mean, well, I know, but that doesn't matter. Well, it's like when people say he's not Comicsgate, he is in Comicsgate. That doesn't matter. He can be whatever. He can be Goobly Blob. It doesn't matter. It's it's the same thing that he's doing though. He's trying to provide for the customers. That's what he's doing. So he can be called whatever the hell he wants. Comicsgate, not Comicsgate, all caps, whatever. He's just still trying to do it for the fans. So I mean, whether he's in Comicsgate is meaningless, I would say.
Sixth Skill Combat says free speech means defending all speech. I disagree slightly. I think free speech is defending someone's ability to say all speech, but you don't have to defend what they say.
True.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
You're allowed to say whatever, but
like, I'll defend your right to say something racist, but I'm not going to defend what you said because I don't agree with you.
Like, you're not supposed to be like, say, instead of being able to talk, you are gagged. It's
Yeah,
like, no,
exactly.
you should be allowed to say something, but then
just don't expect me to defend you.
What comes after is different.
Yeah,
So you make internet douches here. What's up, dude? He said, don't you start with that. The government is not allowed to censor because they are supposed to have the monopoly on censorship.
What?
He's hard to figure out sometimes, but he's always usually around the joke. Yeah, he stopped by your stream the other day too. I like that. A lot of our crowd was in your crowd. I like that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Lil Wolf Cub said, "Really can't stay sober if they don't talk porn."
Sorry, buddy. We'll get there. When we get really toward the end, I'll tell another story of one of my past online dates.
I gotta have Lone Wolf on sometimes. He's awesome, dude.
Yeah, he's good. He's willing to go on. He's in Germany though, and they have a 9-hour time difference. So just keep that in mind too. Yeah. But he's usually willing to pop on. But did you catch my stream on Angus's stream on his Utter Chaos episode? His thing. Did you catch that, Sith?
This most recent one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
All the way to the end.
Yeah. Angus made sure I watched I went back and finished the ending. Dude, your story about when you went on that date with that girl who was like, I told Angus that you made out with Toad from X-Men because you were.
Yeah, I saw that comment. That's basically it. But it was a small tongue, and it was just like going in and out. And I was like, dude, I know that I'm not like a pro, but this isn't how you do it. What are you doing? And God, it was so.
I know a little bit. I've seen the movies.
I'm so nice, and that was what I regret because I should have just been like, hey, yeah, you got to go. But I was so passive that I just let her stay, and I just wouldn't. And she stayed the whole time. She kept on wanting to do stuff, but I was so unaroused. I was like, this is not happening,
sometimes
man.
Lone Wolf said utter chaos was real chaos at the end.
Yes, it was. It was. That whole half hour was just devolved into talking about that stuff.
Oh, man. I don't know. Excuse my language, but sometimes you got to kick a bitch out, rookie.
Oh, I know, but I've learned that now because, especially afterward with the text was the confirmation of, that could have been so different. Holy shit. And in my family, you guys don't know this, but in my family, the seed will take place because my brother has like 5 kids. My dad had 3, and guys know my uncles, everybody has 3 kids in my family, at least minimum. So
my family line is the most potent in the land.
It would take hold, I guarantee. It's like, no, don't need more rookie babies now. That's not what we need right now.
Oh God,
that's hilarious.
And it's like I got more. I started with that one because that's the most silly. I think the other ones are still bad, but they're not that bad. But
sorry, I just you talk about the seed in your family, and I think like, oh God, like how paranoid is he even with himself?
No, not paranoid with myself.
Taking hold.
No. Not paranoid.
I just snorted.
That's funny.
That's so funny. He was like, man, my family line is cursed with potency.
Yep. That's so funny. I only pass it on to those who are worthy. No, just kidding. Proper Jeremy in the chat says, I had to say no to a really hot chick because I didn't have a condom. I was a virgin. ...
Yeah.
What if you just got some head?
I don't know. Starting with Internet Dude says, in my opinion, you can say whatever you damn well please as long as you're not actually hurting people, either physically or economically. It's none of my business.
Yeah. I mean, unless you have like a gang, or if you're like a politician, you don't have your speech has no power. There is a power in speech if you've already established power. So that's the only caveat of censorship that should be established is if Trump saying, oh, let's bomb Korea has a lot more at stake than just a guy at a gas station saying, oh, we should bomb Korea.
You know what? Steven Crowder made a great point in his most recent Change My Mind. He was like, because my professors would say this too, well, speech already has limits. You can't say fire in a crowded theater. He's like, Well, you can if there's an actual fire. So the limit is more like causing hysteria than it is what you say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that, man.
I thought I'd share that.
Hey, Sith, how about you recap some of your Senate from yesterday?
Oh man.
There was some good stuff y'all were talking about. Like,
yeah, I wanted to actually get on that. Yeah, so go ahead.
Well, we spent a good amount of time talking about how we do an Obi-Wan film.
Okay.
Someone there was an idea that like Jabba would be the main bad guy, and then we were debating about that, what that could mean, what it could lead to. I don't know. It's all kind of a haze whenever I do a Senate stream.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta say, Seth, when I listened, that's the only Senate stream I've listened to. I listened to the second half today at work. I can honestly tell that y'all put more thought and effort into that, 2.5 hours of existence than all of Lucasfilm has since they bought it from Lucas.
Oh yeah. We went deep. We started talking about the Force, whether it's like connected to morals or emotions.
Oh yeah, I wanted to get on that too. That was a good conversation. I wasn't able to catch all of it though. I had to go make sandwiches for stupid customers, but that was good. That was pretty good. I wanted to keep on getting in on that a little bit, like when Angus was talking about the Force, there's like the light meets the dark and whatever. Okay, how stupid would that be? Because as far as the story, in a way, just in my opinion, that kind of makes Luke's whole journey of trying to defeat the darkness pointless. To where, like, once he beat the Emperor, that supposedly snubbed out the dark, but that doesn't mean that it can't return. I would think that somebody good could turn bad, or somebody could discover the darkness, but as far as currently, it's gone. It doesn't just automatically rise up and be as powerful as whoever's the strongest light. That's kind of ridiculous.
It's so stupid. It completely like ruins the whole 1,000 years of peace before the Sith return.
Yeah, because I thought the whole point was that the Force isn't for anybody. So why would the Force itself then just go, nope, we lost another light, dude. Okay, throw it in that chick. And then
Yeah, no, the Force is what's there. And you can choose to feed the dark side of it, use the dark side or the light side. But you don't there's no they make it seem like there's a mandate that someone has to be using the dark side.
Right. It's like, if anything, nobody in the whole galaxy or universe needs to be using the light or dark. But if they do, then they do. If they don't, then they don't. It's just, whatever.
Because what's the point of defeating a Sith then? Because just gonna pop back up. It's like plucking a white hair.
If anything, just keep one or two alive, and that's it.
See that point though, Sith. That is the one concession I've made to Last Jedi as far as interest or interesting things. My view of Star Wars, at least from what I know, is that Lucas kind of wrote Star Wars in a box, and I'll explain it like this. The Jedi are this kind of idea of Eastern philosophy, which Judeo-Christian Westerners can look at as somewhat morally relativistic. But he wrote it in a box through the eyes of a Judeo-Christian minded Westerner. It doesn't mean that he's a Christian per se, but that he's conditioned to the same thinking of the good's always going to win out in the end. And so that's the problem of Star Wars, is that it's repetitive by nature, that it's just a back and forth of light and dark. And so the one redeeming quality, I would say, at least for development wise in the story in Last Jedi, is the idea that there needs to be a balance. Either you need one gray Jedi to hold the balance, or you need the kind of yin yang of dark and light, because Anakin set it in imbalance by bringing back the Sith and destroying the Jedi. And then Luke set it in disbalance or imbalance by destroying the Sith. And so I do think that's the problem of Star Wars. And when you actually address it, you get The Last Jedi with the moral relativism of Kylo and Rey. But then the problem of that is that they try to be different and actually touch on the gray idea, and then they fall back on, well, we need good and bad to keep the story going. So, it never resolves.
I thought the prophecy with Anakin was always meant to be a one-off, because otherwise you get stuck in this loop of, okay, there's always going to be a chosen one. As soon as one side wins, there's always going to be someone who comes back to balance it.
I don't know. I mean, what I think is kind of weird, even in The Last Jedi or in other things, they said the Force isn't for anybody. So whether or not there's Jedi or Sith, there could be light side or dark side. without Jedi or Sith, too.
Yeah.
Or gray. It just
One thing with Sony McInternet douche offers, well, just because battle is endless doesn't mean it isn't worth it. Yeah, I think that's the argument for like with morality, with like cops, for instance, or crime, where it's like, well, crime's always going to keep happening. Well, we might as well just not have cops. It's like that's never the answer.
No, that's not. You're right.
Keep
That's
fighting.
Not right.
Yeah,
that's not what we're
but they
saying.
make it seem like it's always gonna balance out. Like crime is still going down steadily. We can have a lot more peace than we do crime. But
right.
in the Last Jedi, Rey it rises up to be Kylo's equal. So they give the impression that both sides are always going to be leveled out. Like there can be the light side can't always like win or be dominant.
Right. Yeah, how I see that is like, let's say I spent so much time training in a certain skill, like how to fight. You never done anything, but since there's none of your guys left, you're all of a sudden as equal as me. Like that's what I'm saying is ridiculous. Like,
and why do people all of a sudden dictate whether or not the Force itself is balanced? Like, why does somebody being a Jedi or the light determine the balance of the Force? I thought the Force had to do with everything in the universe.
Good point too.
Yeah. See, this stuff kind of eats itself, but I think when you actually piece it out, the Last Jedi is on the right track as far as piecing out the kind of pointlessness of the fight in general of like the Sith and Jedi, because the Sith and Jedi are kind of corrupt ideas of just initial Force users. It's become like religions that are corrupted, because the Jedi, you were talking about Coruscant the other day. Why are the Jedi on Coruscant? Well, they were part of the government, so they lost track of like being in balance with just the Force and life, and they became a religion and an institution of the government.
Yeah, they weren't the monks on the mountain. They weren't the monks on the mountain anymore. They were people in the military, basically.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's just interesting stuff. So that's the one concession I give Last Jedi as far as interesting points is they're on the right track, but they knew that if they actually showed their hand, that people would just give up on Star Wars, because you can't just outright say, well, this is a never-ending fight. It's just back and forth, and that it'll only work if we balance it.
Well, you can, but it doesn't have to. You can say that, but you don't have to make it some excuse or window to just explain away Rey not having to have training.
Yeah, well, and also
you can say there's always going to be. You can say there's Rookie. You could say there's always going to be dark in the world and always something to fight. Like the Jedi were around so long for a reason, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all of a sudden that if there's an imbalance, then someone can all of a sudden be super capable. I feel like that's more the reason they went that route than anything. I don't know. I could be looking too deep into it.
That's all right. Well, I was going to bring up similar with this is their constant wanting to do ambiguity, like with everything, like, the Force is this and the Dark does this, the Rebels do this, the Empire does this, or the Resistance does this, they do this, people are good, people are bad. They keep on trying to give this ambiguity of it, though, or like, they may do this, but they also do this, and it all comes off as kind of boring. Like, I feel like you're either fully with it, like those who like The Last Jedi, or those who don't, who pretty much dislike it on many levels. And it's like, I don't know, but they want it to be ambiguous. And it's like, I don't know. With Luke, I don't think anybody was saying this dude is totally an asshole, like with anything. And it was easy to like it. I mean, I like some ambiguity, but I mean, if the whole movie and all the characters are full of it like that, I don't know how we're supposed to care as much.
Well, here's the thing, what I mean? The Force doesn't have to make sense for us to accept it. But when you make it a plot point about that and trying to explain it in the way they did in The Last Jedi with Rey being the counterbalance to Kylo, then all of a sudden you kind of force people to have to think about how it works, because it's just like, okay, so whenever there's light, then there's going to be just as much dark, or whenever there's dark, there has to be just as much light. And then you go down the rabbit hole of actually trying to decipher what it is, when what it is really was always meant to be this ambiguous, like, force of fate in the background.
You're never supposed to know what it is. You cannot define what it is ever.
Exactly. And The Last Jedi forces you to think about what it is, which I don't know if that was necessary.
Yeah. Pretty much. I don't know. I think they could have. They should step away from the actual philosophy of that and just try to make some good characters or something, because it'd be easier, and people would be less hung up on stuff like that too. I think if we were actually caring about Rey instead of making us go, oh my god.
You know what? The whole all the Force stuff, all the Force stuff of Rey being the equal to Kylo would make I'd accept it if it meant that, okay, they're just talking about Rey's potential, but she still needs training to match Kylo.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense based on what they state.
Yeah, like let's say they say like, okay, you're equal in the Force as far as potential is always going to be out there. I'd accept that.
Yeah.
But they're saying that Rey is just as capable and powerful as him because the Force makes it so. That's why I don't buy.
Yeah, same here. Well, and then people will point out that Anakin, but no, he was the chosen one, but he had to train. He had to train for his whole life.
And he still lost to Obi-Wan, who was more experienced.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, he still could get his ass kicked by so many people, and they point out that he's arrogant. He is skilled, but he's arrogant, which is a weakness. And there's so many things about them. Like, this is also why I like Dragon Ball Z, because there's so many times where the enemy is so much stronger, but they have to beat them in ways that are different sometimes, or in just some type of different way that tricks them or catches them off guard, or just makes them not use their power properly, and they use up their energy, and then now they're more equal or something. Like, there's ways to do it without just Yeah,
they had an opportunity on Star Killer. Like, you remember when Kylo was beating his chest? Like, for a second, that was actually intimidating. Like, okay, what the hell's going to stop this guy? Like, he just got hit with this powerful bowcaster, and I thought that he was just going to, like, still win. And then Rey would be like, okay, I really need to go find Luke because I can't beat this guy without training.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would have liked her to see some fear, too. Like with Kylo, when him dominate, just like, oh shit, like I am way outclassed here. I was on a desert a second ago, just getting some food, and now I'm fighting this, space wizard warrior that's awesome. Okay, shit, I need to learn what I'm doing here. What the hell am I even doing?
There's no sense that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It also seems like she has no point to be in the story. I mean, if you really look at it, other than she is just a Force user, but it's because of Derp. Literally, what they said is because of Derp. She's a Force user. So
yeah, and there's no sense that she's ever in over her head, which kind of takes away any sense of suspense for the audience. It's just like, man, she'll be fine.
Yeah, I still think they could still make her be this all-powerful person, but all-powerful people can have weaknesses and traits that are likable. You don't have to, like you said, if she, was arrogant and thought that she can, beat him right away and comes back, he's more skilled. She could even be more powerful than him in their initial fight somehow because of the Force Derp. But, she could be more powerful and he's more skilled. So he might win anyway. And that would be interesting concept too, where I have all this power, I could take down a whole building, but oh my God, this dude is more skilled in the Force and lightsabers that she doesn't stand a chance. Like, she can't
there's
do
a
it.
saying in sports. There's a saying in sports that goes like, "Hard work beats lazy talent," which is true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You playing with the kids, Angus?
No. I was just quiet and watching the chat. Actually, I was just listening.
Okay. Is there anything from the chat you want to bring up?
No.
You guys aren't interesting enough? No, just kidding.
Not that. It's just like
I know.
it's contained within the chat.
I gotcha. What are they talking about?
Hallmark Channel Jeremy says, "Raise a case of equal outcome over equal opportunity." Fair enough.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, like what? See, that's why I try to tell my wife. She doesn't care about criticism or anything. She just watches stuff and likes it or doesn't.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, but I try to tell her like, no, this is why I don't want to raise my fucking kids with Disney Wars, because it teaches warped ideas. Like, I didn't think about it, but that's another problem is like, with the Me Too and all this stuff, it's like, oh, you got this quote unquote strong female hero that is equal outcome, not equal opportunity. So it's just another knock on Mary Sue.
Yeah, it's like it gives the impression that, okay, you're always going to be entitled in life and you can do anything no matter what, and you're never going to have to work to overcome anything or earn anything.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, they also kind of make it seem pointless that Yoda would teach. I mean, that was one of the main things too in the originals, that he was a small little green old dude, and he has all this power and stuff. And it's like if you were to try to attack him, you'd probably lose, even though it would seem like you would win. I mean, with her, yeah. Go ahead.
How about? Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. You bring up all these great points, and I get excited.
Sorry, no, go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead.
But yeah, with Yoda, you're right. Like even like I mentioned the lightsaber duel with Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan, where Yoda has to come in and save them, and then he's just like, very powerful you have become, Count Dooku. And Dooku was like, yeah, more powerful than any Jedi, and he just force lightnings at Yoda, and then Yoda knows to block it, and he's just fucking like, much to learn you still have, which was like so cool.
Well, you know, the cool thing about that though, that I'm not sure, I haven't confirmed it with like new canon or whatever, but I always understood that to be showing that Yoda, the only way you can block that is by knowing dark side powers. And so I always took that to mean Yoda had like a dark past before he became a Jedi.
Was that a dark side power he used? I thought it was just he just found a way to absorb it.
Well, yeah, but as far as I understood, absorbing the Force lightning was a dark side knowledge.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because they're always hinting at that, especially like on the season 6 of Clone Wars. They always hint at Yoda like having a dark past that he's like hidden away.
Well, no, I would think that he, at least in the beginning, might have learned a little bit about the dark side, so he knows a little bit about more about the Force, I suppose.
It was just like a Batman moment, like, gotcha. You still have much to learn. Like, he already won before he walked in there.
Oh, no, but crap, I'll have to think about it for... Oh, yeah. So that guy that Rookie was talking about that I keyed him in on, I came across him when I was making fun of Star Wars Twitter. They were shilling their fucking Resistance cartoon that flipped out. He's almost at 100 subs. Be sure to sub him. He's suffering, and he's even abusing his children, making them watch Resistance for your entertainment.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, I said, I'm resisting watching fake Star Wars. And this guy like commented, and then we got in like a little debate, and then we kind of had concessions with like, oh, we both collect the toys. And I gave his channel a chance, but this dude just shill shit. And Ricky was talking about it. Well, I listened to his debate, and I'm thinking like, Ricky's like, maybe we should debate this guy or have him on. It's like, I don't know. And so I actually wrote like a whole fucking page of problems with just the Last Jedi of like, I'm going to tear this fucker apart because I don't get how you can say, I love the original trilogy, but I also love Luke getting butt fucked and sucking milk out of a sea cow.
well, actually, Angus, my whole point was going to be like with what you said, how he says that saying force diversity means we're racist. Like, having discussions more on those bases, like, you know, how is that so? When like I'm all for diversity, I'm all for it, but you know, the point of forced means that it doesn't need to be there. It shouldn't be there.
It's not natural.
If you're making a progression, that's one thing, but if you change what's established or pushing it just because there's a gender between their legs, you know, some genitals there that are different, what the hell are you doing? We don't like that.
Yeah. It all comes down to like the core issue of identity politics, which is just like you can't force like equal outcomes without stomping on someone's opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and explain this to me, guys. I don't know if you guys feel this, but I've never once like watched any show or any movie and went, gee, I want to see my fat ass on that screen. No, I'm like, I want to see some cool characters. I want to see some people. I'm not thinking about representation of myself. I mean, you guys probably don't know the old show Dark Angel that Jessica Alba was in when she was younger, before she was like really popular.
With Michael Weatherly?
I think so. Jensen Ackles is in season 2 of that one, also the Supernatural guy, and it's like that's a good show. That's a good show to me. I think she's a good character, but I'm not at all. That doesn't feel like it's because women or nothing. Though I think there's a few episodes where they have little moments like that, but it's passable. It's like whatever, just go on with the next episode. And then they try to push something different now that well, no, let's change your character that you like that was a dude, make it into a chick, and then it should be good, right? Fuck no. Fuck no. It's like what I'm saying is too is like they keep on saying that women. They keep on saying too that women aren't represented, and I could point at so many examples of women being good. They've been good for over 40 years and getting better, if anything. and we have it already. But they keep on going, no, we need more. But did any of these fuckers see Proud Mary or Annihilation or anything? I
Oh
did.
God,
Nope.
exactly. These weirdos, they only want they only want like the money makers. It's like when they talk about in like politics and feminism and stuff with equal pay and job opportunity, they only want the CEO jobs. They don't want to go down and be equal distribution of sex in the sewers or in the construction yard. You know, they don't want to be equal going down the pay grade. They only want to be equal at the top. And it's like same with movies. They care about Ghostbusters or Scarlet Witch and Black Widow and shit because that's the stuff everyone, you know, buys merchandise for. No one buys merchandise for Annihilation. It's a thinking movie. And no one care, you know, it's like they're so fickle when they're not really advocate. It's the same argument I've had with like when I first came across feminism and stuff as like an idea, being faced with it when I was like 19. It's like, wait, so like there's, you know, you say well about like Islam being a peaceful religion or whatnot, but Islamic countries and their theocracies persecute women in varying degrees, and no one here talks about that. They only talk about like pussy hats and someone said mean things that hurt my fifis and things that are inconsequential.
You know what's funny? Steven Crowder he went undercover at like some SJW convention, and they were pushing the new Miss Marvel comic, and then he was like, "Oh, so does this comic cover the Islamic oppression of women?" And the lady's like,
Oh, a funny thing, Rookie. Tony Clark said, "I wanted to see you in Star Wars, Rook. You could be a Jedi librarian."
Oh, that'd be fun. Sure. No, I could be one of those. I could be one of the little Jedi kids. Sure, but no, even though I'm 24. But yeah, sure. You know, because that'll make sense.
You see Rookie like in the back of the scene in Revenge of the Sith when Anakin walks in to slaughter the younglings, and he's just like meant to be a youngling, but he's like just giant in the background.
I'm eating potato chips.
Oh my God!
Hey, what's up, Anakin, bro?
This could be a skit for you to make with your other Jeffs.
Oh, maybe. Oh God, I was actually gonna make a while ago. World Class Bullshitters wanted to have like a little 1-minute thing from people or something, and I was thinking about a skit, but he didn't want a skit, but I thought of it anyway, and I might do that if I have time. It's kind of funny. But yeah, no, it's like seriously though. And remember when with the Wonder Woman, for the most part, people liked it, but there were some sections that are like, "Where's her hairy armpits? And why isn't she fat? And why aren't the other ones? Why aren't the other ones fat? And why aren't they all lesbians?"
Oh my God,
or something. And it was like, what the hell are you doing?
Dude,
people don't want. Oh, go ahead, Angus.
Sith, you'll love this. I remember watching some old episodes of Crowder, and there was one where it's like they're trying to appease everyone with Wonder Woman representation, so they even had Wonder Woman in a wheelchair.
Represent disabled.
She's not super anymore.
Oh my God,
that's hilarious. Yeah, where's crippled Superman? Where's him with the gimp? How come he doesn't have polio? Well, give me Superman polio.
Why don't we have a conjoined twin Batman?
Exactly.
No, that could be the Wonder Twins.
Oh yes, exactly.
I always fucking hated them. Like I love Super Friends on Boomerang, and those goddamn Wonder Twins are always becoming stupid ass things that hurt the plot.
Who the hell are Wonder Twins?
You never seen the Wonder Twins? Oh my God, dude! Watch some old Super Friends, dude, and you'll see.
Are they like in Fairly Odd Parents? I think they did a parody of some superheroes. You're making me think where they're like form of a giant shark, form of a bucket of water.
Yeah, something. Pretty much. Like the sister is always something cool, and then the brother is always some dumbass water element.
That's what that sounded like. Yeah. Okay, I know who they are. I never saw them other than in a few cartoon parodies. That's funny, dude.
God, this is great.
But like with the Wonder Woman thing, though, seriously, like they were like, how come they're not lesbians? How come there's not hair out of their armpits? How come they're not chubby? It's like, bitch, if you were a fucking warrior or live on an island, how would you be fat? Eating leaves?
Oh yeah, God forbid you want a fucking hero who takes care of themselves.
It's like I get that there are people that are in our society that are big, but that doesn't mean they're a hero. If I think we've had real situations where fat dudes dress up as Batman and get their ass kicked on the street and arrested or something. Like,
oh, you wanna In the same video I mentioned about Crowder, he takes this pamphlet they gave him, and in one of them, this lady wrote that she was complaining that she can't go to work like hairy or smelly, and why the patriarchy makes her have to smell good, and and that jobs shouldn't discriminate from hiring her if she smells bad. And then Crowder's just like, I hate these people.
I know, like they just want like to be like the most unproductive people. Like none of these arguments better society. They only degrade it.
Oh my god.
You know, it's funny. It's funny too because all these people they complain about America and it's too wide and it's too this and it's bad. But then they're trying to, you know, in the same breath, they're like, we got to get the illegals in here because it'll be good for them. It'll be better than wherever they're from. It's like, well, I thought America was bad because all the white people and we have no
and
good
then
values. And it's like they eat themselves with their logic. It's
and
funny.
they're like, they'll tell you like, they'll yell at you for being incendiary if you have a question, but then they'll have like pictures of like menstruating Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. Just think of you know, iconic cinema, and I know it's a very Western thing, but maybe that is for a reason. You know, maybe some of the values that like like America and like Britain and stuff, the Europe in general through history has had is the reason why we've had the iconic cinema. Like besides Godzilla and Seven Samurai, what do you know of Japanese cinema? You know, or shit, even like other European countries besides England.
Super Sentai.
You know, the Japanese
What?
have like anime, but in general, you know, it's like thinking about pop culture through politics. It's like the West has made the iconic pop culture that the world buys. You know, excluding China here and there, but even they bought Black Panther to some degree.
Well, for me, that's because of the First Amendment, because people had like, there was no censorship. People could play with any idea and then they could like stumble upon something amazing. Because you risk offending people like when you're thinking creatively, like yeah. In those other countries, like in China, they censor a lot of fucking films.
Yeah, I guess so. Or in China, or before you mean censor their own films or foreign films?
Both.
All of it.
All of it.
Oh. Well, I know that
They
they,
go
I know that
hardcore.
I know they censored the hell out of The Last Jedi by playing it and get booted the fuck out of there.
Dude, China doesn't even allow Google. Like they have their own Chinese Google
Oh
to make
no.
sure
Yeah.
you don't view whatever they
They
don't want.
only
Fat
they
Americans
only
sit on
allow
computer and on couch and complain about movies. Yes.
they only allow state sponsored like religions and like churches because they're afraid of like people organizing and like fucking deciding for themselves.
Yep. Harrison says it's true. All of it.
I love you,
Harrison
Harrison.
Ford. And back at Tony Clark said, form of KK strap on.
Who said
So
that?
form of Ryan
Tony
Johnson.
Clark.
Oh, nice.
Tony Clark. Wonder Twin powers activate, says Hallmark Jeremy. And to Economic Cinema Deep Throat, says Tony Clark again with another zinger there. And Nicole Millette says, I'm off white, LOL. I don't know what she's referring to.
So what, like eggshell?
I don't know. I don't know that reference. I don't know. That was just
Oh,
addressing
dude.
the chat.
Speaking of that, have y'all seen this new thing that's kind of slowly trending on Twitter? I saw something where it's like some interaction where someone was black and defending like a white person about something, and then the person's like, "Oh, you're white," and it's like, "I'm black," and it's like, "No, you defend a white person. You're mentally white."
I
And it's
never
like,
heard that. No.
What?
Oh God.
So can
It's
I
crossed that
mentally
line now.
can I mentally be Japanese?
As soon as you said that, I thought of that trans racial guy who's also trans who said that he's Filipino because he likes Filipino food.
What? That's like if
Yeah.
Trump said he's Mexican because he likes
Talk
tacos.
about cultural appropriation.
It's getting crazy, you know. Soon they're gonna have the other kin saying that they're other species.
So
And
when,
It's like you can
when
fucking
Trump says he likes tacos, he's Mexican? I don't know.
it's like you can claim an entire race, but you can't wear a fucking Chinese dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very silly, but okay. So can we just start calling ourselves things in the chat? What do you guys dub yourselves now? Like, what do you claim to be? I don't know. Is that it doesn't matter anymore?
Jez Oldfield said, "Mentally white. What the fuck?"
we're having Jez Oldfield on next on Tuesday.
Oh, dude. Hey,
Awesome.
everyone. Tomorrow on my channel, I'm not sure what time you'll see it soon, but I'm gonna have this young black kid who's had a YouTube channel for about a year, but he's posted very infrequently. It's called The Rant, and watching his stuff, I watched most of his catalog. He's a big Finn fan. And I think The Last Jedi ripped his fucking heart out with Finn, because he made these interesting things. He got like almost 1,000 views of like, oh, dude, Finn's gonna be a Jedi. Just look at this, like, when the hand bleeds on his helmet, that's when like the Force is awakened in Finn, and this and that. And it's like, huh? He's looking all this stuff together. Like even StarWars.com is saying this about Finn, and it's like, wow. Looking back, I'm like, man, this guy must have just really been disappointed with The Last Jedi.
That's great, dude.
So I can't wait to have him on.
Unfortunately, I'll be at work. I work like 3 to 9 tomorrow at Pacific time, so I'll probably miss that. But I'll try to tune in if I can. It'll probably be slow. But I was gonna say, everybody in the chat, check each other's channels out, because a lot of people in here have good content, and also check out Black Angus Reviews, of course, and Sith Kryptonian, also great content. I want everybody to check each other out. Everybody's doing some good stuff in here.
Hey, Seth, what are you doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, I was wondering if you wanted to join me, because Ricky won't be my co-host tomorrow.
What time?
Let's say like 4 p.m.
4 p.m. What time zone? Eastern?
Eastern, yeah. You and me are both on the East.
Oh, I could actually make that.
I should be free.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I have to get if I get my homework done before the 3 o'clock my time, then I can join in for a little bit.
Awesome.
If you're doing it at 4 p.m. Eastern, leave that for a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely, because I definitely feel a lot of the same way about Finn as the kid you were mentioning. There was so much potential for him, so much potential. They just threw it all away.
No, I know. Well, he had the biggest potential of all the characters they introduced.
Oh yeah,
to be good, and that's what I was saying too. Like, I really would have liked him when he had the lightsaber, and then they said he wasn't a Force user. I liked that concept and after he got sliced up, he could have been part cyborg or some shit. I don't know. They could have done anything with him. Anything. He just gets up and he's like, "No, where's Rey?" And then he's going with Potato Chick, and then go on a stupid casino, and then come back, and it's so stupid. And their power scaling makes no sense on their strength levels. It really doesn't make any sense. Like, Finn was a janitor on his first mission, and he can equal Phasma in combat skills. Like, did that bug anybody else either?
It's like, are you a janitor or are you a badass ex-stormtrooper? Decide.
Yeah, and they didn't show any progression in training, because it takes place a day or a week, or I don't know. I hate the time, too, because I don't know when the hell anything is taking place from anything, because they'll show Rey on Luke's island, and that they have days go by there, but then like with the whole chase, it's like within a day. So fuck.
Well, it was like hours ago, and then he was all of a sudden a legend in the Resistance.
That, and another flaw too. They use the escape pods to go light speed undetected from the First Order. Why the fuck didn't they escape out of that?
It's not an escape pod. Those are legitimate ships.
Well, whatever. They could have gone in several different directions, all in their own little ships or something. They could have done so many different things with all of this, but no. And I don't know, so many fucking things that were dumb. I remember Sith Kryptonian. Did we talk about the light speed ramming with you before?
No, I don't think so.
So most people like to think that that's a huge flaw, but I actually disagree with it. I think that when she tried to ram the First Order with her ship, kamikaze style, I thought she was only went light speed because she thought that she'd get blown up before she reaches them to do her kamikaze run, and hope that she'd at least take out one ship, but then accidentally took out like 12.
Yeah, but how does taking out all 12 make sense?
No, I don't think that makes sense, but I'm just saying that, some people were like, oh, why didn't they do this move before? And all I'm saying is that I don't think that anybody ever tried to do that before. That she only did because of this instance. Go ahead.
Yeah, fair enough, but it's also not a very smart move, and it shouldn't have worked as well as it did in The Last Jedi.
No, I agree.
Well, The problem I have is that it took out like every fucking ship.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was too much of an
exactly.
ex machina. No, but you see, it was an ex machina, but then they still seem like they have plenty of ships. Like I don't feel
Yeah,
like they feel
they get the
infinite,
walkers down. Like it didn't
and
really do it. It didn't really have an effect.
they still have that huge space laser to space drill or whatever to shoot at the door, and it's like, so you guys just have everything, don't you? Like,
Tony
there's
Clark.
no what.
Tony Clark said, "This is what happens when you try to make sense of crazy. Don't try to understand Ryan Flaccid Johnson.
You're right. You're right, Tony. I'm sorry. It's just yeah.
We're just man
It's
babies."
conversation points. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a conversation. Well, what do you what else would we be talking about? What do you guys get at the grocery store? I don't fucking care. Like, you know,
Crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they have like conveniently have like all the right stuff at all the wrong times, and they use it entirely wrong every time.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too. It doesn't feel finite. It feels like it's just an endless well. As to where in the Empire, I mean, it kind of felt like after the Death Star was destroyed, that was actually a big blow, and they had to, try to really snub out the rebellion now because they lost their big weapon, and so they had to
Here's
try
a
to really,
question:
yeah.
the mini Death Star ram thing they had, why not set it up behind the line of the walkers?
Because derp, I don't know.
Wait. What was your question?
The miniaturized Death Star door breaker, whatever that they had, the big laser. Why wouldn't they set that up behind the line of walkers?
Well, I thought they set up in the line of walkers.
No, they put it in front, I think, didn't they?
It was alongside them.
Yeah, it was like in the middle of the line.
I'll have to go back and see that.
Don't torture yourself, buddy. We
on
don't
YouTube.
need
On
you to be.
YouTube, I'm not watching them.
We don't need you to be scarred for going through that. No.
Yeah, well, dude, there's one thing that like I don't get that I point out, and I rewatched the episode, not the whole fucking episode, but the the part of episode 8 where they fight with the Praetorian guards, like the one cool part, and even that is really flawed with the edit. Was I never understood, and I rechecked it to make sure. So the arms of the guards is lightsaber proof, but
Yeah,
they
their
didn't
armor.
think to. No, the arms of their armor, not their chests or their helmets, because like Kylo like directly pierces it in the face, and then like he stabs one through the chest. But their arms, their arms are, and it's like, wait, what? Why would?
It doesn't make any sense.
And it's feathered the same way as like Kylo's arms. It's like, why wouldn't Kylo have this technology? Like that's the whole reason he has the cross guard is to like burn people. But if the people he's fighting have armor on their arms, like I don't like.
It's a good point.
Well,
yeah, it's like
you would think
they get so ahead of themselves
Angus.
with something cool, they don't think of the ramifications of it. Like, it would be cool if we went light speed and we have this cool anime quiet scene, and they don't think about like, well, this retroactively hurts every space battle.
Yeah, and you would think that Kylo, who has the fractured crystal and has to vent the saber, would have like a gauntlet like that on his right hand, so he doesn't burn himself.
That's a good point too. You think it'd be charred up after a while, maybe, but yeah, it'd still be doing the job.
Why wouldn't they at least make the arm pads on the Praetorian guards like a different color so we know it's like different?
Because dirt.
It's the Imperial guards. They're just copycatting.
I also hated Snoke's throne room. I mean, they could have put, even though this character didn't get much of anything and he wasn't going to have anything, I suppose, they could have still given him the slightest bit of a scrap of a character by having like, stuff on his wall to kind of show a little bit about him. Like, maybe he's caught a fucking Rancor head or something, or has some other cool collectibles in the back from ancient times or something, to all these different types of lightsabers, something, so we can go, oh, this character did this or that. But we have nothing, just a red room, just red, a chair in the middle of the room. What is he doing on his free time?
Dude, that would have been a perfect opportunity for like books and comics and stuff to explain how he got those.
Yeah, could have been for extra lore, maybe.
Yeah, it's like little details like that are how you make the comics, not tell the story that's supposed to tie into the new movie about a special force tree from the Emperor's vault, and that's given to just some chick who's a rebel fighter, and then never explain it when her son is part of the story with Luke Skywalker in the map. And it's like, this is all supposed to be canon. Like everything at Disney makes, games, toys, like everything has to fit the canon, and it's like it's pointless, you know. And so like I was jaded after The Force Awakens with like the merchandise because I knew what not to fall for the next time.
Yeah, the books and comics should be expanding on what's there, not filling in what isn't.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that it was a mistake of them to claim that the extra books are not canon. I think going forward without establishing what's canon and what isn't would be a better idea, because now people have to try to differentiate stories and stuff, and it's just, I don't know. That doesn't seem like the right way to do it, because canon isn't defined by these people, honestly. If you want to be technical, usually the creator is what makes it canon. And then, you know, there's arguments to be had of what is canon or what isn't canon, just because they own the rights at the moment. So if Sony were to own the rights at the moment, then they would just have the hold of canon and decide what was or what isn't canon. Like, no, that's not how it really works, I would say.
Well, I defend Lucasfilm on this point because the EU was so like expansive and comprehensive. Like you kind of would be too tied down creatively to go anywhere new. The mistake they did make though was what they chose to reincorporate in the new canon and what they didn't. Like there was so much material that they could have incorporated into the new canon that they just didn't in the films.
What I'm saying is that they could have made these movies however they want, regardless of what the other books are. They do not have to be tied to whatever's in those books, but they did not have to state that those are not canon anymore. That's what I'm saying.
People would get confused then. People would be like, but
people
if
are still
they're both
confused.
canon,
people still get confused. So that's what I'm saying. It's pointless to do that, because it's like with Dragon Ball. I know you guys don't follow it, but I mean, my God, people are arguing about canon and what's not canon all the damn time. Like, oh, it's only canon if Toriyama created it, or in the manga, and the anime stuff isn't canon. And the most memorable stuff is sometimes in the anime, some of the most memorable moments. Or, you know, he may not have been fully a part of the project, but he helped create some of the character design. And people will just go beyond stretches to try to identify what's canon or what isn't. And it's just the point is, it's technically whatever you want to make it. As far as what it is, you can believe that GT is canon for Dragon Ball, or you can believe that Super is canon for Dragon Ball. With Star Wars, I mean, you can believe that this crap, the sequels, are the real canon, or that the EU is, or something, you know.
Well, I think that would be an argument in favor of just telling fans what's officially canon and what isn't, so everyone's clear on it.
But I just say, I don't know about that either, because, well, who's to say, George Lucas or Lucasfilm? Because he's the creator. He is the one who made it. So that's what I'm saying. So if Sony all of a sudden had the rights, you just go, no, every single thing you know about Star Wars didn't happen at all. This is the truth now. That's what I'm saying. You cannot just, it's like rewriting history. Like, you can't just say it's just not canon anymore.
This reminds me of like a... I don't know if either of y'all watch any famous atheists like the Four Horsemen, but Daniel Dennett and Dawkins, they talk about memes. Memes are an idea since like the 70s. I don't know the full context of that history, but the idea is that, like, you know, things actually like change meaning, you know, or like you have a picture of, you know, Anakin on Mustafar, and it has a context, but then you write new words on it and it's a joke, and it totally changes the context of what you're looking at, and so on and so forth. And, you know, like certain things have that effect long term, where the more hands it changes, the more meanings it has or loses. So I don't know, the idea of canon and stuff, it makes me think in that line of thought.
Or it's like this, like, what about the Marvel and DC? What's canon? It's like, and then if they just told you what is canon, that doesn't work for so many people. I mean, if you want to establish that this current stories that you're working on are their own isolated events, sure, but to just, you know, claim that all others aren't isn't exactly the right thing either. Like, if you're saying what I'm writing is this, I'm not considering those, this is where this story is, but not saying those didn't happen. That's not the truth. Well, this is the truth.
Well, with comics and DC and stuff, they actually do explain that it's all canon because there's different universes. There's like a whole multiverse idea going on. But I think with Star Wars, it's different because it started off as films. So the books are expanding on the films. So the films kind of determine what is canon because they determine what gets expanded on.
But then why is their books any different here?
What do you
because
mean?
because you're saying that stuff in the books are those. You're saying that the books that they claim are canon when you just
Yeah,
said that they're
because
movies, though.
the books have to work within the universe of the film franchise. So if they contradict the universe of the film franchise, then they can't be canon.
But
That's
technically,
why Hidalgo says if anything gets contradicted, go with the movies.
but I mean, technically, you could say that a bunch of other things that aren't canon are canon, then, because they don't contradict with the movies.
No, well, technically, but you just kind of go with what the people making it tell you, because like with the EU, I'll use this example. If the EU was still canon and they didn't specify that it isn't, then people would be in uproar that Ben Solo was not Jason and that there's no Jaina.
I don't know about that. I just think that just trying to establish what is the
People would
official
be
canon
pissed.
just doesn't work either, though. It's just
Well, think of it
like,
this way, Rookie. There has to be some semblance of canon for a series. Like even with the comics, with all the different multiverses and stuff, or Elseworld stories, or whatever you fucking call them, you have parameters that are set for characters. Like Spider-Man has to have web shooters. It doesn't matter if they're organic or he creates them. He needs web shooters. He needs his iconic blue and red suit. Even if he gets the black suit, it's like part of his progression from his norm. Superman, has all his stupid powers that are make him a bad character. Batman always loses his parents and has Alfred. There's core things that you have to maintain for certain characters. And it's the
Yeah,
same thing with like, I think that's the importance of canon to some degree at least. Is like there needs to be some continuity at least. It's weird with Star Wars because it's supposed to be like a linear story. It's not supposed to have like Elseworld stories. Even with like
yeah,
the Star Wars stories, it's supposed to be just tertiary stories outside of the Skywalker story, but it's all one timeline.
yeah. That was my point. It's like it's not a multiverse. It all exists within the universe of the films, so they have to be consistent.
I don't know. Just going on that, I would say that if they're going to make it about, the films being the canon part, then that's where the canon remains. And then anything else, even if they claim that it is within the canon, isn't. Because, like, again, like, let's say that another company had control, though, and then they contradict something that was in one of the books from that they made under Disney and Lucasfilm. Would you say that that's not canon? That that's okay or not okay? Contradiction because it wasn't in the film, or
Well,
what? Like,
I'll concede that the films are the only sure 100% always will be canon out there. But that doesn't mean that they can't decide something's not canon because they want to go a different direction in the films. Because the films are the end all be all, like you're saying. So
yep.
if the EU contradicts where they want to go with the films, then they have to make it non-canon.
Yep, which is even more disappointing as to why the Last Jedi is so abysmal
Yeah.
Oh,
and
hey,
disappointing.
hey, Sith, what was the thing y'all were talking about with Snoke and his ring and the
Oh,
Gandalf idea?
we were talking about how Snoke might be able to come back, and somebody mentioned in the chat that they're doing the idea of a possessed mask in the Vader comic, and that Snoke might use his ring to keep him tied to the physical world, and
So
like
like
as a way to
Sauron.
like bring him. Yeah, exactly.
So he's got a Horcrux. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said,
Oh
and
my
yeah,
god.
yeah.
Okay. Whatever they can try to do. But see, I still don't even care about Snoke. It's just still dumb the way they introduced him as important and then claim he's not important anymore for
Well,
nothing.
the reason that Snoke isn't, it's important that we know where Snoke comes from, because to understand Snoke is to understand the First Order.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that they introduce him as important, but then play him off as if he's not important. And then as far as the films go, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Still, just,
See, dude. What's funny about this is there's a film to compare, I think, in a very abstract way, and that's the movie Arrival with the Alien movie from
With
2016.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, with Amy Adams. Yeah, it's my
Yeah.
favorite all-time movie.
well, that's fine. I have that, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, dude,
That movie confused me.
it's the ultimate non-blockbuster. It shits on like all the like Independence Day and stuff, like stupid sci-fi. Shits all over that. It's great.
And we got Dur Japango in here, a new guy. I haven't seen him around.
Huh. Well, hold
Welcome.
up. On a big meta level, it's kind of the same. So, one moment.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So,
Yeah.
sorry for arguing. It's I was just.
Okay.
I don't
So
know.
what I was going to say is, in Arrival, everything you watch the first time, you get tense a lot because you have preconceptions about what will happen with an alien contact movie, and like nothing you're expecting, no tension from preconceived notions happens. And The Last Jedi thinks it's smart by doing the same thing, where it's like, oh, you're mad because you expected this, and it's like, well, yeah, there's a reason I expect it in this series because it's a series, and the previous trilogy, you're copying the same format of government, and yet you're not telling me how it comes about or why a
Yeah.
vanquished foe that's like a cosmic level foe just arises in 30 years again. Like
Well, it's
episode
like if we
four
it's like
through.
if we beat it's like if we beat the Nazis and then like cut to head 40 or 50 years and they're in control of America. You go, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, like the first three movies don't need explanation. Like you're dropped in and they explain it as they go. But this new stuff, like this is the argument I would have with anyone that loves Last Jedi and the Disney shit is
I agree.
what's the rewatchability? Everything relies on going back to the original trilogy. Like, oh, look at how this ties into Luke and Leia and Han and the Empire and the Sith. It's all retroactive. Nothing holds up on its own merit.
Yeah,
Yep.
we need to see the Finn janitor movie. We want to see him wipe some decks and
Oh,
swab
God.
some floors and then see Ray. I don't know. This is funny. Here, I want to kind of change it up though from Star Wars.
Sure.
Kind of wrap it up a little bit. Trying to wind down a little bit. Been going for almost 3 hours. Been nice. A good episode of the Cinema Squad. We're probably gonna
This is
change.
fun. This is a fun conversation. Time flew by.
Yeah, but we're probably going to change the name of our thing pretty soon, probably at the end of the year or something. We're thinking Chaos Council. Sounds a little better because we don't just talk about film half the time. So
Yeah.
the rookie corner is more for the film-based stuff, but our group over here is more variety.
Gotcha.
But what was I going to say? So movie recommendations. So as we close out, so we should have like one movie assignment for us to watch, and those in the chat too who want to participate, listen up. So, Sith, what is a film that you think that everybody should see?
That's a tough one. There's all these movies that I like, but whenever I need to think back and pick one, it's so difficult. Like they just don't come to me. But if you haven't seen, come back to me at the end. I need to think for a second.
Okay, Angus, what about you?
Well, I said earlier, The Phoenix, a Criterion film from 2014. But I'd also offer Arrival. I myself am always trying to find new movies. I feel that cinema in large is stagnant, and so I'm going retroactive, finding older stuff. I just watched Super Troopers. Or no. I hate that movie. No, I
hate
hate
that
that
too.
movie.
I hate that too. My God.
The intro scene
Starship
yeah,
Troopers. You meant
Starship
okay.
Troopers. I mixed
Okay,
those titles
you're
up.
good.
Starship Troopers is amazing. I love it instantly. I like that it's like a Nazi propaganda kind of like a fascist government propaganda reel.
Yeah.
It would work though. I like the idea of having to earn citizenship through like military service, and you could do it widespread if you instituted a society like this with like Israel's format, or a lot of like Germany and Austria, I think, do this as well, where you're required to do government service of some respect, whether it's military or like civil service. I think that's how you could equalize it with the population more. It's an interesting concept, I think, with that system of government. Because America, for instance, was built to be, initially at least, powered by the people like to say the rich white men, but it was the educated was the idea of entitling the rich. And you see the problem today where everyone has a vote, and so you get someone like Acacia Cortez or whatever in New York gets a seat in the government, and she has no idea what she's doing.
Oh God, don't get me started with her.
So there is merit in the idea of having to earn your citizenship and having to earn your vote, as opposed to it being a entitlement. So I think there is lessons to be learned from movies like Starship Troopers when you talk about societies.
Okay,
But
yeah, I
I'll turn
agree.
it over to you, Berkey.
I agree. So, Arrival, The Phoenix, or Starship Troopers. We'll pick one at the end to chat for an assignment or something for us to try to do. So for me, I do have a list somewhere, but I need to find that. But like I said, I think Deep in the Valley would be kind of a funny one to do because it's Chris Pratt in a porn universe or something, but it's not as dirty as you would think. It's like light comedy kind of. Or there's Tampopo, which is a literal noodle movie, just a weird comedy about noodles and shit, and it's a Japanese one, I think, or Chinese, or one of those over there. I don't know. But it is actually pretty funny, and we watched it for our cinema class, and it is hilarious. I'm trying to get another one for variety a little bit. What's a good one you guys probably might not have seen? Well, I do suggest Alien Planet, that one that I did a review on, and that's actually my logo. It's one of the movies in my icon right now in the center. Alien Planet. I think that's a good little documentary one. It's only an hour and a half long, and that one's pretty good. Shows how evolution could have happened on a different planet and all these different creatures, and it's just pretty cool. Little educational. It shows George Lucas, Makio Keiku, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Stephen Hawking, James Carl. I don't know if he's in it. There's a lot of people that you guys recognize in the science community or films if you know it. So that one's one I suggest. And then did you think of your Sith?
Yeah. I just kind of both of them are kind of Western-ish because I guess I'm on like a Red Dead Redemption 2 kick. So I'd recommend 310 to Yuma if you haven't seen it, and Lawless. I think the performances in both films are ridiculously good, and they're good like Western stories. So.
What was that first one? What was that first one you suggested?
310 to Yuma.
310
Which one?
To Yuma.
The one with Russell Crowe.
Okay, because that was a remake.
Yeah, the remake. Yeah.
Okay, so for the Cinema Squad, we'll have our next Cinema Squad one 2 weeks from now on Black Angus's channel on a Saturday.
Rock and roll.
On a Saturday, exactly, and we'll be coming back. So by the time we get there, so we have 2 weeks to watch some of these movies. So the assignment for everybody in the chat too, if you guys want to be a part of the conversation anyway and have spoilers and stuff. So let's go with Arrival for Angus's pick. Angus's pick is Arrival. That one because I haven't seen that either, and I'm not sure if everyone else has seen that. I know Starship Troopers is more popular, so maybe we'll save that for another one. And Sith's one. If you could pick between the two Sith, which would you recommend that we talk about next time if you wanted to join us for the 310 Yuma or the Lawless?
Oh,
if you could pick which one you think we should watch first. Think about that for a sec. Think about that for a second.
I'd go with it's like a toss-up because they're both so great. Let's go with Lawless. Let's go with Lawless.
Lawless. Okay, so
yeah.
All right, so Sith Kryptonian's pick is Lawless. So 2 weeks from now, we'll need to see Arrival, Lawless, and I'm picking Alien Planet for mine, mostly because that is available on YouTube. If you type up Alien Planet, the documentary, or 2008 or something, it will come up on YouTube, and you can literally just watch it, and it's an hour and a half long. So it's an easy one to find right there. And Johnny Five says, "What about the porn story?" oh, I think you meant my date story. I was going to end out on.
Oh, great! It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Okay, so yeah, I'll start closing out by doing that a little bit. Adam Shahan is here, and he's a World Class Bullshitters regular, I would say too, and on ours, big time. What's up, dude? And all right, so do you guys want to hear my another date story that I've had?
Yeah,
sure.
Okay, so let's start. We'll start with my first online date. Oh my god! So this was like right out of high school, and my buddy was just heading out for the Marines, and like we'd hang out all the time. And he was like, before he went, this was like before I was in school, or right before I got my first job. He was like, "Hey, dude, here's a way you can meet some extra chicks during the summer and stuff." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, just have an online thing." Like, all right. So I signed up for Plenty of Fish, POF, and start talking to a girl, and we get along a little bit. Okay, we're talking for a little while, like a week or two, and we agree to meet. And at the time, I've only ever kind of went out with a few girls, like in high school, but never went on like a full-on date, like went out on a date. And I was thinking, you got to get some lunch or dinner or something, usually, or go to a movie or hang out somewhere, do something. She wanted to come right to my house. And I was like, I was very naive at the time. So I was like, well, I think that's a little weird, but okay. In my head, I was very naive. Like this is why Angus thinks I'm prude, but I've grown since then. So I'm not as prude as I would have been if I could stayed on those paths. But I was like, what are we going to do? Like play video games, watch TV, play cards? What did you do at my house? What are we doing? Like I don't know what to do on a first date at my house. I don't know how to cook. So I was like, what, we're going to get Dairy Queen? What do you want? It was very naive. And she came over and we like watched movies for a little while. And then she just hopped on top of me and I was like, okay, cool. But, what the, like, seriously, for me, I like to get to know people more before getting intimate and stuff. So I was like, I don't know. And she,
dude, Ricky, I'm married. That's where you messed up. Don't get to know him at all.
Sure. So, but for me, so then I was just like, I don't know. And to be honest, she wasn't that attractive to me, but I was, she was okay to hang around. So I was like, okay, it's okay, but we're not doing that today. And then, maybe like a week or so later, or no, it was like 2 weeks later. I was kind of feeling up to doing some stuff. So I was, I was like mowing the lawn. I was working out a lot around that week. So I was like, yeah, why not? Come over. And, oh my God, what a mistake that was for that night. Oh my gosh. So she comes over and we're trying to, get some stuff going a little bit. And she starts talking about how she wants to move in with, like, she's like, hey, we should get an apartment. Like, and, I'm just like, what? And this is while we're like making out and stuff. I'm kind of like,
okay.
Huh, what do you want to name our babies?
I'm like, that's nice. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's not talk about that. And we go do some other stuff. And then just later, she's like, yeah, it'd be kind of fun to have our own room. What kind of carpet would you get or something? I'm like, the fuck? Okay.
Oh
and then she was literally like, would we share a car? I'm like, I don't even drive yet.
Dude, she was already naming all 5 of your future children.
Yeah, dude,
the seed is strong with this one.
The more she was talking, every time she was talking, the more less aroused I was getting. Which sounds mean because I'm nice, but it's like, dude, you keep on saying all these things that are not okay. And then she's like, all right, now let me show you a good time. And then by this point, I'm just like, go home. And so that went bad. A little bit. So that one ended better than the last one. But after that, we just didn't really talk. But my God, she was just seriously like full on into like fully moving in. But I don't know. That was like my first online dating experience in person. So I was just not for it. And like I said, she wasn't that attractive in the first place. So the more but I was still, trying to do some stuff. But no, the more she was saying these things, I'm like, no. Not at all. But
wow.
Yeah, that's not as bad as the other one I told. Like I said, the other one was really crazy. But
yeah,
there's more for the future that I'll hold for future streams or something.
What do you think it is about you that is attracting these people?
What is the thing about you, Rookie?
I don't know. because I'm nice enough to let the crazy in, and then they think it'll be too late or something before I realize, oh shit. But that's what I'm thinking. But now I've learned, because I wouldn't say no so often. I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. Now I know. Now I know.
They view him as a lost sheep. You're a lost sheep to them.
But now I've learned to be more upfront and direct about stuff, and I'm like, no, if that's not a thing, that's not happening. So yeah,
you got to make it clear in your bio, like, no first date, no talking about moving in or this or that. Just like list everything that's as horrible happened to you, and girls will be like, oh, this poor soul.
Yeah. Johnny 5 says you were ignorant. Jez Oldfield says POF is for fucking dude, not romance. One Wolf Cub says utter chaos too.
Oh yeah, I didn't understand what he meant by that. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah, part like with the other one. Johnny 5 says marry first. She should read you a bedtime story from Penthouse.
Yeah.
The Sith Scale Combat says the rookie erotic. That's great. And then in the middle of all that, Proper Jeremy says, "What's up, Adam Shawhan?" Just amongst all this stuff. And then Adam Shawhan says, "Do you have a Discord yet?" Yes, I do, actually. Princess Aruka helped me set that up. And once I get the hang of it a little more, then I'll send it out for people to know. But until then, I'm just kind of figuring it out a little. So I'll let you guys know once that's all set up and invite some people in and whatnot. And then what else are people saying? Whales need loving too, says Hallmark Channel Jeremy.
That guy gets it.
Oh, that's pretty much. And yeah, she was big. She was big, but I'm trying not to be judgmental with that stuff. But then, God, those totally
Hallmark Jerry, whole lot of Rosie. That's what just happened to him.
Yeah. Hey, I've learned from all these experiences, though. So, yeah. I mean, what's funny, because in high school, it was more... I can tell a quick high school one, too, kind of. This one's a quicker one. So there was this girl that I liked. Her name was Brittany K or Brittany something. I don't remember her last name, but I knew like
Brittany
50...
bitch.
I knew like 50 Brittany's, by the way. But I kind of had a crush on her for like 2 years or so. And then I asked her out at one point, and then as soon as I asked her out, she was totally different, and I did not like her at all. She seriously was like, this one. She's like, this dude said that I'm being stupid. Kick his ass. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't know who he is. I'm not getting in with that. You know how I am. I'm like a neutral guy. I'm like, what do you think? What about me says I'm just gonna go kick his ass because he disagrees with you? What'd you say? I said something stupid about this one thing. I'm like, yeah, I agree with him. And that relationship did not last. But, it was.
There's Darth Chico said, "Did you lay down the meat like you do on the sandwiches?"
Yeah. No, there was no intercourse with that. So no, it was a lot of fooling around. God. No intercourse. But
there's no foot long.
No foot long. No. Especially the more she was talking, it was not going to be that way. No. She also says the rookie critic 90 degrees is 90 degrees, dude. Let me see down here, seeing everybody's comments on this shit. That's great. Yeah, sometime in 2019, girl power or will come to power. True. You had a stalker. She was kind of a stalker, but she didn't really follow me after that. So I mean, that tells me she was like, okay, I tried to hook them and it failed. And I was like, yeah, no shit. If she didn't talk that much, who knows what happened? But she kept on talking, and nope.
It sounds like a great intro to like a Hellraiser movie.
Yeah, well, and it's like, I'm not saying that girls need to be quiet, but I mean, you don't talk about how our future is on our first, getting down from online. You don't do that. But as Jez Oldfield said, it's for fucking, not for romance. So I guess that's for fucking too. Yep. And what else happened here? Yep. Arg, Geoff, hee. Yep. If y'all want to know about misery and true horror, I'll tell you about my exes. Says 6 Scale Combat.
Proper joint taxes, says Tony Clark.
Yep. I love what Proper Jeremy said, because that pretty much sums up my issues with people online so far. I let the crazy in, I just don't put it in. Exactly. A desperate pushover. Alive, let's get physical. Cool tunes. She couldn't have talked with the full mouth. Just don't watch Channel Jeremy.
Fair point.
That's a good one, man. And the Lone Wolf Cub says, you give porn a bad name. Yep. Oops. Did you lay down the meat like sandwiches? Yep. I got that. That was hilarious. And Salty's on here now. Perfect. He came in just in time. Did you hear the story, Salty? Yep. He said you guys are still on. Yeah, we're about to close out in a sec. Too much fun. We're still here. Okay, good. Okay, so Angus, I guess you're right. People do like this stuff. Stuff is
Exactly.
pretty good. I thought people would be. See, my issue was I thought other people were going to feel discomfort, not me. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if we should talk about that stuff. But if people are liking it, then that's fine. That's cool.
No, we love
that's
your
cool.
pain. We love your pain, Rookie.
Hey, next on my channel, when we have the Chaos, sorry, I almost forgot the word, Chaos Council.
Yeah.
When we have the Chaos Council on my channel, I'll tell y'all the story of destiny of me and my wife.
Okay.
At least so far. I mean, we could still get divorced. I don't know, but so far it seems like destiny has linked us together.
Okay. But yeah, you guys need to share your stories next time too. I'll start running out soon if keep doing this.
See, the problem with mine is I don't want to, like, mine might make people feel weird because I've had, I was in the army, so I've had interactions with hookers, and it's a weird business, It's like, oh hi, you try to be nice because it's a lady, but you're paying for goods, and so there's like just a bluntness to it, and it's really awkward when you're trying to be like a nice guy.
I could never do that. I just start feeling bad. Like, are you sure? Is this okay? Do you want more money?
You're a masochist. You're like, yeah, take my money. Yeah, I'm broke.
Oh yeah.
What's this scale comment said? You mean professionals? Yeah. I don't know how professional. I would say I would say semi-pro.
Semi-pro. Okay.
Semi-pro. Aspiring.
Darth Tico says, I ain't no lady. I'm picturing Tico. I'm picturing Kelly McTran as Tico saying that I ain't no lady to Finn or something. Oh shit!
Oh god! Flip down.
Sorry, Mister.
Flip down said, "Oh no, it's devolved to hooker talk again."
Again, that's what happens at the end of the streams now. I wish Wolf was here for that. I wonder what he'd be saying.
Oh god, we gotta get Lone Wolf in here for like because like these turn into like I said, Akari Press and Sashi, they have their like sexy time streams.
Well, so on Tuesday, Jez Oldfield is going to be our guest, and I want the Lone Wolf Cub on there because they're both real good in the comics. Nerdette said she might stop by, and Psychology Nerd might stop by, so we might have a full house in here for Tuesday. We'll see.
I'll try to catch that.
I'll be, and forgive me on that stream. I'll probably, sometimes tell people to be quiet so that everybody has. Just to make sure everybody has a fair amount of time if there's so many people, so somebody's not in the dark too long or everybody talking at once. Adam Shahan said, if I wanted lit from you, I'd undo my zipper. LOL, it's a joke. Okay. Nice. I like that. Let's see. Yeah, we all go through some shit, says Tony Clark. Yep. Lone Wolf Cub, porn harder. We have 17 viewers. I know, as soon as we started talking, we had like 12, and then now we got like 16, 17.
Awesome.
We're laughing with you, not at you. Let's see. Proper Jeremy says, I could start a Council of Jeremy stream. Let me know what you think of it. Dude, yeah, I think I've suggested that to regular Jeremy a few times. I was like, dude, you should have either a skit with your other Jeremys or have them on as a full stream, have a Jeremy like army stream where different Jeremys come on and talk or whatever. And we don't need to see their faces, just our icons. And they can do their impressions of whatever name they are or something of Jeremy.
Yeah, like Proper Jeremy talks as Proper Jeremy.
Exactly. Proper Jeremy.
I want to see Philosophy Jeremy on a stream. Talk about The Last Jedi or something. Follow him on Twitter.
That'd be fun. The Lone Wolf Cub said that we should do our own parodies of our characters, and it's like I have different Geoff characters on my channel. Like Jeffy is the Star Wars nerd who has a deep voice and can teleport. He would talk like Abeloth, the one Jedi or the one chick that's the mother of the Force babies or whatever is the best. Oh yeah. And there's the Jeffy Fro, which is always eating and he's high. It's like, hey man, let's talk about some movies. Yeah. Those ones. Yep. And Proper Jeremy says, darn, you guys are awesome. Seriously, can't wait to be on. Hell yeah. Proper Jeremy is going to be a guest in the next couple weeks.
Hell yeah.
Heck yes. And Nicole says, you seem to find the oddballs and freaks. Yeah, with the dates, I don't. See, I know why. I know
I
why. It's
thought she was
because
talking about the chat.
I know too. That's what I thought for a sec. But she's referring to my relationships. I don't know. There's a few people that I've met that are cool, and we ended up kind of being friends for a while afterward. But I mean, we honestly those are the ones that we didn't have interest in each other, and we hung around. And then there's the crazy ones who had full interest in me, and I had no interest in them. It was just not good. But I know what it was. My niceness lets them in the door, and then they think they can do what they want because that's probably what they're used to. And then I'm like, no, now I'll boot you out. Like, no, you're not getting in the door yet until I know you're not crazy. Then again, I guess they can hide it pretty well. You guys ever had anything like that? You guys ever done online stuff, or was it all?
Oh yeah,
personal?
yeah. I got a. Yeah, I've done a little bit of online. That's how I met my wife, actually. So it'll be a fun story in a couple weeks to tell y'all the story of Destiny, me and my wife.
Okay,
Nice.
okay. Yeah, but telling everybody again, if you guys want to be in our stream sometime or as a guest, just go to the Rookie Critic at Twitter. Just the Rookie Critic, one word, all lowercase. Just the Rookie Critic, and you'll find me, and you can contact me, and I'll see if I can let you on at some point. Or Black Angus, what's your spelling difference or something?
Mine is
Black
at Angus Reviews.
At Angus Reviews. And Sith, what's yours?
My Twitter?
Yeah.
At Sith Crypto with a KYT.
All right, because Sith has some good streams as well and has some fun conversations. And I think our group in here would be funny on one of his streams, talking with his buddies as well. I want to have Salty.
Actually,
I want to have Salty on here sometime. He's funny.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Shout out Salty Nerd Podcast. It's a great podcast. And actually, next Wednesday or this Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving, I'm having Flip, Angus, and Rookie, and probably some people from the Senate, if they're free on, as like a Thanksgiving special stream. So it should be fun.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
What's funny too, I'm actually not doing anything on Thanksgiving, so I might have a stream also. And if anybody wants to jump on in, they can. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's not guaranteed, but just thinking about it. And Adam Shahan says, I'm always available if you need an extra. Yeah, dude. I don't remember if I already have you on Twitter or not, but like I said, if you hear that, go to the Rookie Critic, and I'll have you on here at some point, man. Hell yeah. Adam Shahan.
Yeah, same goes for me if y'all want to. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm trying to have more Utter Chaos episodes. That's pretty fun to do.
Awesome.
Explain your streams, Angus.
Okay, yeah. So my channel is Film Philosophy of the NFL, and then Utter Chaos. I like to kind of do the same ideas. Rookie Corner, try to find small YouTube channels and give them a platform to discuss stuff. Star Wars is kind of the center, but you never know how it's going to go. Like, so with the rant, he's a black guy. I'm assuming around my age, who has a daughter, and I have 2 kids. And so definitely talk about like mixed relationships maybe, and like real world stuff, and kind of get a father's take, because I haven't really had a chance to talk to fathers. I like, even Geoff TheIronWolf doesn't have children, as I understand. So that's an angle I've been wanting to discuss with people, is like, how do you take pop culture and Star Wars and stuff having children and stuff. So like that's an angle that you'll hear me at least try to coax out with the rant tomorrow, that I'm excited about. And then him being black too, I want to get a more quote unquote real black person, because I'm pretty white.
A real black person.
Yeah, I'm half black, but I'm
black.
a pretty quote unquote white guy. So I want to get hopefully a more black person's view on the forced diversity. And,
a more black. I love that term. More blacker than you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what to look forward to tomorrow on Utter Chaos episode 4, and of course I'll be hosting the next episode of the Chaos Council. And still not used to saying that. I got used to saying Cinema Squad.
I was gonna say we could probably keep Cinema Squad until the end of the year, and then officially change it at the new year or something. No,
I think we should just stick with it. Like just change it right away and make it stick easier.
Okay, that's fine too. The Lone Wolf Cub says, we need porn, Jeremy, damn it. And, the more Jeremys, the more fun. Oddballs, freaks, and trolls. Yeah, pretty much. I'm really hoping to find a normal person one of these days. That'd be nice. Just chill. There was somebody that I really like to save that story, too, for later. I got to save the good ones for later, so I guess keep everybody hooked. One of these days, I actually wrote a poem for a chick one time. I could read that out. That's kind of funny. So, Let's see. Jeremy Osteen, Jeremy Simmons, Drunk Jeremy. Yeah, dude, get everybody, get the whole council, everyone. That'd be good. Ron 9-inch Jeremy. This is Tony Clark. That's good. Johnny 5 says bye guys. Yep, later, dude. If you already left. Jez says hit me up for a stream pretty much any time. Yeah, we'll probably get you after we have you on as a guest. I mean, usually every guest I have is welcome to come back on again. Usually just for any random stream for the most part. But I do like to keep it under. I do like to keep it within a good amount. I mean, that one stream where I was inviting Wolf and everybody, like I was just inviting everybody in. All of a sudden, it was getting crazy towards the end of that one. So, but that was still fun. But for like a whole stream, that'd be too much. But Adam Shawhan says Lethal Weapon 2, but you are a black. Okay. Lethal Weapon 2, but you're black. Lethal Weapon 2. I don't remember that being a thing in there. I haven't seen that in forever.
I'm not I don't know Lethal Weapon yet. I tried to watch the first one. I can't get into it, but I'm going to force myself to watch it.
I like Lethal Weapon. A movie I've seen you haven't. I've seen all 4 of the Lethal Weapon movies, and I like those. I don't love them. I like them. They're popcorn. They're okay. They're here and there. Reading the chat a little bit, scrolling down. I guess they want to hear more of my date stories, but
no, save those for more episodes. Keep them waiting.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I'll close this out now. I appreciate you guys all for stopping by. The movie assignment that we're going to talk about next Saturday a little bit. I assume do you want to talk about the movies on your stream, Angus? I guess I'll ask you first before declaring this what we'll talk about. The Arrival, Lawless, and Alien Planet. Like a little bit on your stream for the Chaos Council.
Definitely. For Chaos Council episode 6. Yeah, we'll talk about our movie assignment, especially if Sith wants to come back on.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep. The assignment for the Chaos Council is to watch The Arrival, Lawless, and Alien Planet. Arrival, Lawless, and Alien Planet. So if you guys want to tune in on that on our Chaos Council 2 weeks from now, you guys can be a part of the discussion on those and talk about those. I figured this way we can have like a one central topic point, and then we can still talk about whatever shit we want for the most part. So still keep it good. And so Johnny 5 says, when is the video with me coming? Oh, that's going to be pretty soon. I'm starting to film that this week, actually, my skit trilogy thing. So I'll keep you guys informed on all that. And I'll just end it now because I'm about to talk. I almost want to say something that'll make us here for another half an hour, but
hang up.
I'll just end it now.